Well. It's a very deep subject, right?
Very deep.
Unless you got a shallow well, then you got a shallow subject. It's 7:00. Good morning. It's Monday. It's okay. You don't have to be normal. Any more so than normal.
After last week, I hope everybody was able to take this weekend and relax and
let
things get back to normal.
I did not, but it was okay. It was a lot of fun. Had a good time. I'm Rayford Brown.
I'm Lee Barrows.
I was going to stall till Kelly got here. She's on the way, but so we won't. We'll announce her when she arrives. Should we just do the presidential theme?
Boy, that's a lot to talk about there too.
Oh, I don't want to do that today. We're just going to ignore it. But 1 week from today, from right now, we had a different president in office.
Yes, we did.
So time is flying. It's flying by. Today is the 27th of January already.
Do you realize
what happened?
By the end of the week, we'll be in February.
I know that. For Saturday.
Yes.
Is the one.
February.
February is but 5 days away, and Christmas, 332 days from today. You might want to start making your shopping list, Kelly. Shop the sales and be ready by, let's say, Labor Day, so you can relax for the last few months of the year. What do you think about that? I mean, do it now while you're in the Christmas season. You got snow and a little remnants and the shade here and there. How can you go shopping in the summertime to go Christmas shopping in the summertime like Kelly does? You go shopping online. You go shopping in the stores because you're going to find some Christmas stuff you can buy. You can go shopping, and it's 90 degrees outside. Why not shop 1 year in advance when it's cold, unlike right now, seasonal with snow on the ground? This is the time you should be doing your Christmas shopping. Okay, forget about it.
I'm at a loss for words. I can't even think of what I really would like to say at this moment. I'm just going to take it down a notch.
Yeah, sir. Hope your weekend was good, y'all. I found it pretty interesting that even though temperatures were way up there, some of the white slop that we've had was still hanging around yesterday afternoon. And on my deck back there, which is mostly in the shade, there's still 3 inches of snow on it, except for the path that I cut with a shovel.
Half my backyard is still covered. And of course, that's from the haying trees and my roof. I just really wish it would hurry up because as it melts, it's like it's raining.
Yeah.
And the dogs look and they go, no, we're not going out.
Well, the good thing about if you got snow on your roof right now and it's still there, then that indicates you've got really good insulation, that your heat is not escaping through your roof. If you go around and even when it's really cold outside and you see snow on a roof,
right,
and there's a spot there over one room that is, you can see the shingles or the metal,
right,
you need to get some more insulation in that room because it has gone away.
I had my metal roof put on 10, 12 years ago.
It's about rusts away now, right?
No, and what they did was they left existing roof on, the shingles, everything.
Yep. That's where I do it.
They wrap it with this thermal paper that they use like on the space shuttle. And then they put the metal over top of that. So you talk about insulated during the past big windstorms that start with the H word. I didn't hear the wind as much as you would normally hear in a house without a metal roof.
That's good. You got the right stuff up there.
I can't tell you when it's raining unless I get up and look out the window to see it's raining. It's very quiet. Yeah. Very quiet. I like it.
Members of the Onslow Amateur Radio.
Yeah, people.
They had something called Winter Field, and not just our club here, but nationwide. Winter Field Day, where we go out and we went out Saturday and we set up 4 transmitting stations. We had 1 hour to set them up and antennas and start talking to people. It was part of a test, a little bit of a contest, but it's what we do.
How did you do?
I don't know. We'll find out. We got everything set up in an hour.
Right.
We showed up at the Brookwood Baptist Church.
Oh, you're right close to me.
Yeah. on Henderson, and we started a whole team, maybe 15 or so, set up antennas. It looked like a bunch of porcupines hanging out with those antennas sticking up in the air all over the back lot. People, I'm sure, were thinking, "Oh my God, we've been invaded by aliens." And yeah, well, we're kind of aliens, but we are the legal kind. And then we put up the 4 transmitting stations and had a couple of backup other types of stations. And then we started talking to people. It's a test.
All right.
It's a test of our capabilities to set up rapidly. It's called rapid deployment. Set up rapidly. And then if for some reason something is happening at the location where we are set up, we have to get it down in an hour and go somewhere else and take another hour and set it up. Well, we did it in less than an hour set up. We did it in 29 minutes breakdown.
Wow.
And then we were ready to go. It's kind of like the old MASH units.
Right.
The mobile hospitals. You break them down, you go set up at another location and operating very quickly. So anyway, stations and organizations around the United States had 1 hour to set up, make as many contacts as possible with stations all over the country for 6 continuous hours. You had to operate on Saturday.
That's serious.
Break everything down and do it all over again Sunday from a different location. So Sunday I talked with Sheriff Thomas a few weeks ago, and he gave permission, checked it out, and we had one of the deputies there, the range officer, in fact, for the sheriff's range, and the guy in charge of that whole facility out there. They've got a really nice warehouse, got a couple of boats in there and stuff, and the rest of it was vacant. So he said, "Why don't you set up in there?" Well, we did.
Nice.
We loaded up our own tables and chairs and stuff this time because it's just a bare warehouse.
Right.
They did have heat. That's good. And I had a restroom.
Thank you,
That's
Jesus.
Good. So we got out there Sunday morning at 9 o'clock, and we were on the air at 10 o'clock. Already had made 2 contacts as the event started. And we were good to go. We worked on A, 40, 20, 15, and 10. We made contacts on 5 different bands that you could offer on all of them at some point in time.
Golly.
With 4 different stations and continuously. We did very well. 4 different stations, 4 different antennas, 4 different transmitters setups. We were up and running within the hour. Got it all back down. Sunday, yesterday afternoon, late, our breakdown time was 19 minutes.
We're getting good.
All packed up, ready to roll to go to the next operation should something happen. We've got our own trailer. We carry stuff with us. Each ham, we got station equipment that belongs to the club that we can operate with portable equipment that we can take anywhere. But I think not everybody brought it, but all the stations we used were portable equipment, pieces of equipment that individual hams have got.
I just want to know, was there food?
Nope.
Darn.
Well, Saturday we got pizza. Had one pizza order. We just decided this was a short thing. Now, the big field day coming up in June, that's where you operate around the clock.
I definitely want to go to that.
And we will have food.
Great.
We will have food.
Great.
I almost did chili, but, I was tired anyway, so. That's the way to do it. Anyway, we got everything done.
Wonderful.
Ham radio is a great hobby.
Well, I just want to know, how far out did you talk to different ham operators?
One guy got a guy in Nambia. That's in Africa.
Right.
There were any number of foreign stations work, but they're not really in the contest. It's a U.S. type of thing, but we still talk to them. I had one lady in France, and then. It was, they were all over the country. I don't know whether we got every state, but pretty much. Well, I know we were working tons of different states from the station that I was at. So kudos to the team there. This is a great hobby, day in and day out, just for a lot of fun. And an essential service during times of emergencies, hurricanes around here. Fires out in California, they've lost a lot of comms out there, and they got amateur radio operators working there. Cell phones and first responders can't handle the overload of traffic. Sometimes the dispatch units are down during a hurricane. They may go down. It's the way it is. And actually, we've got guys here that can get out of their personal vehicles with portable equipment and get into a patrol car a sheriff's office car, police car, highway patrol car, and they can actually talk back to stations that we hold, the police department and the sheriff's office.
Well, you
at
know,
their EOCs.
it's been a long time. Well, maybe it's just because I didn't hear anything, but it seems like the ham radio club here has become very active within
Extremely.
the last year.
Mm-hmm.
Kudos to them. Good
Extremely
morning,
active
Kelly.
and working things like the parades to
Yes.
provide extra communications up and down the parade route, or as we did in the Veterans Parade. I was the roving unit in the parade because I had radio set up on our vehicle, and I was
yes.
able to talk back and forth. Anything that was happening along the parade route as I
Well,
was
just
there.
think, Rayford, if ICE has to come here to round up anybody, what you got
Oh, we're
to do?
there. We got you.
You,
We got
you
you
guys
back.
are right out there helping them.
No, we're not helping them. They got to
Go out there to that back door on that block over there, the purple house.
Yeah, yeah. We got the back door. We'll knock on the back door. When they come running out the front door, you get them.
Now, are y'all using drones?
No, we got a drone. One of our guys, and you know him, Bob Williams. He's
Yes.
got a drone, and we have used his drone. I guess it was last year. He's got a device on the
yes.
bottom of his drone.
I've seen his
that
pictures and videos.
He can hook a small wire up to it,
Yes.
send it up, lay it over a big tall limb somewhere, and let it fall down to the other side, and then you pull your antennas up with it.
Oh, well, how so smart.
It saves you from climbing a tree or a tower
I
somewhere.
like his ambulance.
Yeah,
the ambulance.
ambulance is good.
Yes, yes. He's got an old EMS ambulance and he's converted it into a.
Well, yeah, he's done a
Radio
lot of
on
work
the
on
go.
it. It is a self-contained unit
yes.
for sure. Got all sorts of equipment. You can go anywhere. Set up an antennas plural. Operators
Well,
on
just
many
thank you
different
all
bands.
for what you do because to
It's a
have
lot of
that-
fun, and just in
extra.
case, and as a lot of the folks found out with Helene on the western part of the North Carolina, there was no form of
Yeah, I sure
communication.
wish I'd had something.
If you'd had a radio, you could have been able to actually
I could
talk
have.
back here
I know I could
or
have.
be relayed back here. It depends
Yes.
upon what license you had.
Yes.
So, you're working on it, right?
Speaking of the western part of the state, yes, I'm working on it. I'm
They had a special guest on Saturday,
Friday.
Friday.
President Trump and Mrs. Trump showed up at Western North Carolina. They went to the Swanoa area, and they had people out there that they were already set up to talk to who told their stories. I'm gonna tell you what, I cried. I mean, what some of those people are still facing now.
Oh yeah, the wintertime especially.
In the wintertime, and they can't get any help. And from there, and a lot of it has to do with permits, which was talked about in LA also, because they're being told that it'll take months to get permits to rebuild. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Well, you're going to have some permits. You're going to have some oversight because you don't want them putting up
Right,
shanties that are going to
exactly.
fall down.
But the ones in LA, some of the families they interviewed, they were being told by LA council inspections, etc., it would take 18 months
Yeah.
to get a permit. And the president said, no, it's not. And him and the mayor about got into it. It was
That'd be all right.
entertaining. It was so entertaining. I know Kelly saw that.
I did.
I wouldn't want to go up against him.
I'm gonna tell you what, but it was really, really. I have to give the man kudos though for what all he's done in 1 week.
Yeah. Less than a week he's been there. We'll talk about
Yes,
that too.
we will.
Kelly, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
What can you talk to us about what parts are aching?
Hip.
Achy,
Good Lord.
breaky hip?
Yeah. Achy breaky hip
My goodness gracious.
and top of the leg. Yeah.
Oh, so while you were playing hooky from work during this time, because of something, a little white stuff on the ground,
Yeah.
so you went out and played in it.
Well,
In spite of what we all told everybody, you didn't pay any attention to your own diagnosis. Your
I'm so
own.
wet.
I made my snow angel.
We saw that.
That was
Come here.
the hot.
You didn't have very far to fall for that one. You were already
No.
on the ground.
The other part was going out to fill my bird feeders up.
That
That's where
was-
the fall came, and walking to the car to get something.
The hilarious part about that video is when she made the snow angel,
and then
she couldn't get up.
I couldn't
was
get up.
dying.
I
Yeah, I
have
couldn't
fallen
get
and I
up.
can't
She's
get
like,
up.
Will you come help me
Yeah.
up?
It was a video. It's on video. Yeah.
I know
couldn't
it.
get up.
We all saw it.
Couldn't get up. It's even on. I put it on my personal Facebook page. Everybody in the world can see it now. That's on that page.
For
But I had
all the
fun.
Irish friends and relatives over there in
They already
Ireland,
saw it.
I'm sure they have.
Yeah, I've already. But to be fair, one of the reasons why I was struggling to get up, well, there's a lot of reasons, but I was worried.
It gets
if,
worse, by the way.
Well, I was worried if
you get.
my goal was to try to go left to get up, but I was worried I was going to mess up, turn this way. And I was worried if I did, it was going to mess up the center of the snow angel. That's why, if you notice, I kept trying to pull myself up. I just couldn't do it.
What if no one had been outside to help you up?
It would have been, I would have messed up my snow angel, and I would have been very upset.
She would have rolled all the way across over to the porch. And by that time, all that snow would have been sticking to her.
Yeah, she looked like a snowman.
When you do making a snowman, you roll this stuff up.
Yeah.
People make snowmans around here, I've seen, and they don't really know how to roll a snowball.
I didn't make a snowman.
I didn't make one. I chose not to even go out.
Actually, there's a second one down here. It's a snow midget at the end of the block here.
I saw it. I almost thought about running it over.
In Swansboro, Friday night, we saw one. I shot a picture of it. I don't think did I post it or
No.
I didn't post it.
You sent it to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a cute one.
It was
It
cute.
had a little smirk on his face too.
Yes,
That was
he
really
did.
cool. I like that one. So,
My grandson had a big old, almost like a 5-foot snowman.
oh, really?
Yeah, a little hat and had a little carrot. I don't know where they found the carrot.
Don't ask. Your
The
neighbor's missing
scarf. I don't know. But he matched. He was very cute. Yeah.
anything? The snowman matched.
Yeah, like his little outfit matched.
My
grandson picked it out.
I was waiting for a call or pictures from Lee because she was supposed, with all that snow, all I heard last week, I'm going to build a snow woman.
She didn't.
No, I chose to stay inside. I was like, I'm not going out there and breaking a hip
Trust
or
me,
leg
after I
or
fell
something.
and got a nice bruise, I didn't go back out.
As I just,
I saw something that said, I've fallen again.
yes.
So you've twice.
Yes. One time bird feeder, one time sidewalk. Sidewalk did me in.
Okay.
After driving in it those mornings, I had no
No
desire
way
to
we
go out
got one
walking
driving
it.
No.
I mean, everything was good as long as you weren't slow and were cautious. I came right through it, but no, I would rather have a nice like today.
It's cold out there,
Well,
but it was rainy.
Yes.
it's we went to Swansboro Friday night.
How did that go?
How was it?
Oh, it was some kind of good
What did you
What'd
get
you
to
eat? Yeah.
steak.
You got the
Both
steak.
of us
Okay.
did it. Can't eat all of it. That's the thing.
Yeah, I know.
Couldn't eat. I got steak, a baked potato, and oysters Rockefeller.
He
And
always
Bobby got some tuna tartar or tartar tuna, whatever it is. Little,
rare tuna.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
nice. So I ate some of that too. So I gave her a couple of the oysters, and I ate the oysters, and I ate a half of a baked potato. The other half is in the fridge because I know what I do with that later on, probably today.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'll tell y'all how to do a really good baked potato that's left over.
You don't have to tell me. I know how to do. I can lay a potato down.
Y'all should have a cook-off. You guys should
I've
have
already got. I'm a
I
two-time
can
winner.
do it.
What are you going to do?
Oh well, we were there. We know.
Y'all will help both times.
We didn't help cook, but
No.
I'll do everything.
We're like the
else.
Vanna Whites. We're
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
to kind of go like this. Yeah.
Well, y'all done good.
You're the
entice
chef.
the tickets to go into
You're
Bucky.
the-
Come on.
The Gordon Ramsay.
Yes.
I was not that vicious.
No, but the talent.
Oh,
The talent. No, you're not vicious like Cam, but the talent.
I was not. I didn't scream and holler
The
at
Guy
anybody.
Fieri, Gordon Ramsay,
Yes.
the Julia Childs. Like combine them all into one. That's Rayford.
Mhm.
You're a good chef.
Oh, what was that guy? The Cajun dude.
Oh yes.
He was my hero.
that guy too.
Yeah, I like him.
My dad like.
I
I
like
loved I loved
What is that
listening
guy's
to
name?
him speak.
Oh, absolutely.
Let me look. We all know
He's kind of
what
like
his
a
name
Cajun
is.
Asian, right?
What is his name?
Who
He'll come
was
up here in a
that?
minute.
I know it's gonna bug me.
Somebody listening, quick, put
it on
Chris
the
Clark
guy's
is listening.
name.
He'll tell me, I'm sure, in just a second.
Justin.
That's it.
Justin.
Justin.
Something.
Justin's his name. Okay, Ducky.
Justin Wilson.
That's my
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. My dad loved him.
Oh, I loved watching him
Yeah.
too.
You are live and local. We are too. How are you?
Hey, good morning.
Are you hungry now?
We're just talking about, getting ready to talk about you.
And just real quick, Bobby Flay is my
I was
favorite.
talking about the food. I know that was some, that took center stage the other night.
It did center stage, and you
It
were
always does there, man.
and you were on stage right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's Justin Wilson that y'all trying to.
Yep.
That's who it is. Justin Wilson.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Justin Wilson.
Hey, Wilson. I need a glass of wine here, and we'll put some in the food, and I'll take a glass. I'll put some more in the food. We'll take a glass. Maybe two glasses.
He said, we're going to put a little wine in the food, a little more wine for the cook, a little more wine for the food, a little more wine for the cook.
Put a little bit of wine in the food, a little bit of wine in the cook. Yeah, I know.
Well, a little bit is
I
a
used to like that show a lot.
a little bit is a half a case.
Yes, yes.
So, anyway, Steve was also performing Friday night.
And how was it?
At the El Burro, at the Burro restaurant in Swansboro. And Steve was playing some songs as I got up ready to leave because, there are people that when you get there and you finish your food, which we did, and we stalled and we waited. And then I saw some people walking up and I said, you know what? They don't have, but they count on people eating and getting out because they like to have multiple turnovers at the same table in an evening, right?
Right.
That's the way you make money. Hello. So we stayed as long as we felt comfortable and didn't want anybody to bash us. So we got up and making our way out the door.
Why would they bash you?
Because we were taking up place. I know.
I was going to say, that's the reason they hire me is to kind of help rush people out the door.
No. But Steve was performing, and he took a real quick, as he was starting one more song, I walked by.
Right.
And then he sang me out.
Oh, he sang you out the door?
Sang me out the door with my song.
Which song? Oh, Downtown.
Yeah.
Oh, how was that?
I got up to go downtown in Swansboro. Hello. Perfect. Oh, well. Yeah, it was good. He doesn't sound like Petula Clark, of course, because his voice will never get there, I hope. But anyway, it sounded real good. It's a good song. It's a great song, and I love the song. And his pauses, Downtown. As I have discussed before, you've got, with the music, with that song, if you don't pause exactly, and we're talking about microseconds here, you're going to miss it.
Right.
You just miss it. And he didn't miss it. So, you got 5 in the X-ring, Steve. 5 out of 5. Good job.
Good job, Steve. I'll get there one day. I get home and it's hard to get back in that truck and.
Well, I was ready for it Friday. I mean, I had been planning on it for a week.
Very good. I'm glad it was great.
Yeah, I'm glad the roads were clear.
Oh, yes. I thought about you, but that's
not a problem.
How was dinner? You answered, so I knew you were home okay.
Yeah, dinner was great. I was filled to capacity. And I finished up the steak last night because there's no way I can eat that much steak anymore.
Wow.
In one sitting. Because I don't like to be stuffed anymore. And of course, I like to have my variety. I had a half a baked tater, most of the steak, and oysters Rockefeller, and a couple of pieces of tuna. And, that's enough for any human. So I brought the rest of it home for me was it last night? Yeah, last night.
I'll tell you something else I like about them is that they have amazingly good food, but they don't just throw it on the plate when it comes out. It's a work of art.
No, it's not slopped out there. That's for sure.
No, it is a work of art when it comes out.
If you're expecting to go to the Burro Diner, you need to go find it somewhere else because it ain't there. This is fine food, and it's not pretentious. You don't have to dress up in a tuxedo. There's no maitre d' waiting for you. There's none of that stuff. You walk in, I'm Jack, and here's your table. Come on down.
Yeah, mostly shorts and flip-flops in the summertime.
Yeah, absolutely. No.
Yeah. But I will say the food tastes and looks a lot better than the prices reflect. I'll
tell you what,
they're reasonable considering how well they prepare the food.
Don't tell them, but that stuff is there. You're paying for good food and you're paying for good service, and you get both. But if you go somewhere else, the food might not be as good, and you're going to pay more just because they want to get real fancy like on you. I don't need fancy. I don't need fancy.
There's a restaurant in Carteret County that same state would cost you $100.
Oh, I'm sure.
Are you talking? I know where you're talking about. There's several of them there.
Uh-huh.
If you're going to the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Steve, it was great seeing you. Glad we had a minute or two to talk before the hors d'oeuvres arrived.
Hanging out and not running out as soon as you got done. That was nice. I appreciate you hanging out.
Well, if you figure it like I did, you told me what time you're going to be playing. I normally go at 5 o'clock. Okay,
right? He
so
does.
I can get out before the crowd.
You do.
But that one time I hated to do it. But I mean, it was the summertime the last time I saw you there, and it was like, oh my Lord! But I can't sit there and take a table up. Can't do it. So this time I timed it right. 5:30. I get there. I get some hors d'oeuvres. I get the beginnings of it, and then we can eat while you're singing.
Right.
It worked out well.
A lot of people. A lot of times my wife won't go there with me because she doesn't want to take up a table and keep the waitresses from making money.
I just found it amazing that you told me that she was at the in the other room in the bar, and I never got a chance to meet her. So is there something?
He was scared. He didn't want you to meet her.
That's what I was thinking.
Like,
no.
She don't like to advertise. She's Mrs. Poole as much as you think.
Look, we've already ruined Chris Miller's relationship with his wife after what we told her.
So we did that one.
Steve's taking note.
So anyway, but I'll be nice.
She's more shy than I am, guys. I should have brought her over and introduced her.
You should.
I apologize.
We'll get there.
We'll get her, and I'll take care of it. I'll be nice to her. I won't tell her everything I know about you.
Honestly, y'all like her. Everybody likes her.
I'm sure.
I'm the flying ointment.
Well, it's cool.
I know ointment.
All right. Steve, you have a good one, sir.
Thanks,
have a great
Steve.
week.
You too, guys. Have a blessed day.
You too. Bye. Unsettled weather moving in during the week. Oh,
I'll take
it. Unsettled. And it's proving to be a little difficult for a pinpoint forecast right now. Offshore today, small craft advisory is in effect this afternoon through tomorrow morning. That means it's going to be blustery and nasty. Westerly winds 10 to 15 knots today, becoming southwesterly 15 to 20. Frequent gusts to 25 in the afternoon. Seas 2 to 4 feet. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop, increasing to choppy in the afternoon. Now, let me explain something to you. When I tell you that it's going to be blustery, the winds are only 10 to 15, maybe 15 to 20. Okay. That's always doable. Sea's only 2 to 4 feet. Why? Okay, well, because the inlets are rough. You can't get out there where it is. So that's why it's going to be sloppy and nasty.
Stay on land.
Stay inside if you're going to do anything. Tomorrow, westerly winds again, 15 to 20, gusts to 25, diminishing. In the afternoon, 10 to 15, seas 2 to 4, sounds and rivers choppy, diminishing to a moderate chop in the afternoon. And on Wednesday, westerly winds 15 to 20, southwesterly 20 to 25 in the afternoon, gusts to 30 knots, seas 5 to 7 feet. Yeah. That's when it gets kind of on the sloppy side. The waves coming out of the southwest, 6-footers every 7 seconds. That's way too close together for 6-foot waves. Sounds and rivers choppy, increasing to rough in the afternoon.
It's a lot of rocking.
Today, rain. High of 48. Luckily, it will only be 6-mile-an-hour winds, so it won't be too bad with that. Tonight, rain. Then after midnight, some patchy fog, and after that, just mostly cloudy, a low of 39. Tomorrow, there'll be some fog in the morning, so be careful when kids are going to school tomorrow. Otherwise, partly sunny to sunny with a high of 59. Now, on Tuesday, tomorrow, the winds will pick up from the west 6 to 10 miles an hour, and we will actually have 21-mile-an-hour gusts. Tomorrow night, clear. I think it's cold, low of 35. And on Wednesday, sunny, high of 65, and those gusty winds are back. Yep.
It can blow off the rest of this mess hanging around.
It should. What is weird? Okay, Wednesday would be 65, Thursday 55, and then 69 on Friday. Come on, be consistent.
Why?
There's like roller coaster.
We need a variety here.
Apparently, we are getting it.
Yeah. You get on a roller coaster, you don't want to go just on a straight line, do you?
Okay, good point.
Up and down,
I'll
up
give you
and
that.
down. Makes you seasick anyway.
It would.
Okay, let's. Did y'all see any pictures of this Eagles game yesterday or anything?
Yes.
Did you see the flag?
Yes. No.
It covered the football field.
It was big.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I was just trying to
There's pictures of it everywhere.
Yes, I saw that.
Is the width and the length of the football field. Holy moly! They had it laid out that way, holding it up all around there.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I had
cool.
something. I
Looks
was
like the
thinking
fine
about-
folks on the Greenville City Council
That's what I was
have
going to bring
decided
up. Yes.
to take the high road to deal with a huge American flag that the national camping world was intended to. That's what they will do. They're going to
Yay.
put up another one of their big old flags
Yes.
within the city limits, a flag much like the ones in other cities and towns they put up.
Mhm.
Now the council has decided that the city staffers will have to present them with a plan that will allow Camping World to
Yes.
be happy.
They revoted. They're going to redo the ordinance.
Yeah, they're gonna have to develop an ordinance based upon the flag.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That is cool.
Yes.
Smart people, city council. You want to be reelected, don't you? That's good news. Even
Well-
though the council member most definitely would rather keep everything quiet.
Let's
I'm
talk
sure.
about the bad news.
Well, hold up, because I did some reading on that
Uh-huh.
while I was at home last week. And apparently, in almost every town, Camping World has had this controversy, which has been just about
Right
every
through
single
the
one.
same thing.
yes.
Same thing has occurred, and then Camping World has dug in,
It's
and
a-
each town has changed their ordinances to allow them to have that flag.
Yeah.
So I
Well-
guess they felt like, well, we'll just pay it. With
well,
Greenville,
they said we're going to find you. They came out day one. They find them.
yeah.
Well,
And guess what?
They're
They
paying
said we'll keep finding them.
$250 a day.
And they're like,
Right now.
okay.
Yep.
We'll
Right
pay
now
it.
they're
They're
up to
gonna get
like
it back.
$1,700.
You know, they earn
You
that
know what?
probably one client,
I'll
customer
send them a
coming in.
check. I'll send them a check. I don't care.
I'm
all
going to
for
fly a
it.
big flag if you send me a check.
Okay. Is there an ordinance in our
Let's
town?
make an
I can make
ordinance.
one.
Yeah,
I have a country club with ordinance.
yeah.
I'm gonna tell you
No
what.
flags over 2 by 4
I
inches.
know rules are rules, laws are laws,
Yes.
ordinances are
The
ordinances.
flag is a flag. Come
But
on.
Well,
when it
it
comes to
is.
our United States
agree.
flag,
I agree with that.
Now, there are two things. One, their flag was not only just big, but it also was a higher flagpole than they will
Right.
allow. So they're working on that.
Mm-hmm.
Two things. You can't just let somebody put up a 50 by 85-foot flag or whatever they
understand,
are,
right?
because those things are heavy.
I agree with
The
that.
winds blow.
Right.
We know that. Flagpoles, if they're not stable, you
Mhm.
put up a little flimsy flagpole and you got a big old hunk of cloth up there flying in winds that are 80 miles an hour because you're dumb enough not to take it down.
Mhm.
You can do a lot of damage to a lot of people in the surrounding area. That flag comes off, rips off. A big flag like that, do you know how heavy it is, how much damage it would do? Can you
Mhm.
imagine it ending up on the interstate or ending up on cars? They're driving down
I
the road.
agree.
Okay, so there got to be some common sense here,
Mhm.
and that's where
Mhm.
you've got to have ordinances. You can't just go
Yeah,
out
we
there and fly
understand.
some big old flag just because you want to,
We
whether it's
understand.
a U.S. flag or whether it's
Where would you find a flag that big?
you
I'm
have
just
them
curious.
custom made.
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
sure,
That flag's huge.
and it's not going to be out of microfiber.
Mhm.
That's going to
Right.
be
Yeah, yeah.
thinner than paper. So it's
I
heavy. It's gonna
understand
be
it
heavy.
all, but I'm in for the controversy.
Well, I want them to be able to do it, but they got to do it responsibly.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Well, when I first bought my flagpole and put it up in the yard, it was actually taller than my house. So I
Well,
took
should it not be?
one of the extension. Well, no, I mean, it was way taller. So I took one of the extensions out and lowered it to
Mhm.
where it's appropriate.
That's what my
now.
neighbor did.
But anytime we have a bad storm coming, all I have to do is pick it up, take it apart, the lower extension, and wrap the flag up, and then take it and put it in the garage. So I only have like a 4-foot section sticking out
Oh,
of the
yeah.
ground.
Well, Marty, next door neighbor's got one. And
Yes.
his telescopes.
Yes.
He just
That's
pushes
what my
buttons and
neighbor's
he comes
does.
down. He
Yes.
comes down. He comes down.
Yeah, house
Oh.
is smart.
So
Yeah.
it's the way he bought it. He's always wanted one. Now he's putting in a bigger base. So it'll be,
Right.
actually, he was looking at it one day.
Well, my base is
Meticulous
in
Marty.
concrete. Right.
That's what we're going to call him, Meticulous Marty. He was looking at it from outside, and he said, I don't think I took a real close look at this
Uh-uh.
thing.
I bet that's him calling now. No, it's Charlie.
I don't.
Well, mine's in
and then
concrete.
Yeah, well,
About 4
his is
foot of it, yeah.
Well, yeah, but he's now doing the same thing.
Oh, you go, Marty.
His wasn't.
It's one way to keep it intact.
His wasn't lined up
We got to get ready for that.
exactly where it was centered, where he wanted it.
We need to get
So he's
you one.
moved it over a couple of feet. He's put
We're
it in
gonna
the
start
I
middle.
wonder what he was
GoFundMe.
doing over there.
Charles, happy Monday.
It is Monday.
See, you offended him. You called him Charles.
Well, his name is Charles.
It's Charlie.
You don't know that that's his name.
My dad used to do that.
Well, it's either Charles or Charlie or Sam or Jack, or maybe it's Lee today. He could be whoever he wants to be. Good morning. How are you?
Hey, what is the political makeup of your town? The people that make the laws in your town, are they
Republican.
conservative? Are they liberals?
They're
We're
conservative.
conservative. Every elected official we have right now in Onslow County, they're Republican.
No. Isn't Brian Jackson a Democrat on the city council?
No, I believe he's unaffiliated. I have to look
I don't
him
know.
up.
We've got a mixture, but
Yeah.
most of
I don't
them,
think we have any
all of them are going to be
Democrat.
leaning
Unless Brian
conservative.
Jackson's one.
I have to look him up. But
Yeah. You guys were talking about the flag, right? The flag.
Okay,
being too
now,
large.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's not my
Listen,
town.
let's back up. That's in another town. It's about 70 miles away. It's in a bit
College
more of it's a more left-leaning town, though it's not left-leaning, if you know what I mean.
East Carolina University is there.
It's a university town.
Yeah.
What's the college there called?
East Carolina University.
ECU.
And it's just like rich white liberal hypocrites.
No, they're not rich.
They're not too bad at
Sandra Bullock
ECU.
went there.
You go up to UNC. Yeah.
My daughter went there.
My daughter did too.
Mhm.
ECU.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
graduated from
It
ECU.
used to be a
So
party
did my
school when it
daughter,
was
yeah.
East Carolina
It's
College.
still a party school, trust me.
Yep.
When it was East Carolina
Mhm.
College, way back
Affiliated.
when, it used to be a party school like you would not believe.
Right.
Hey, let me ask you guys a question. You know how Trump's going after all the gang members and the whole thing with Colombia that just happened and how they caved, and we're trying to get rid of all the people that are like criminals in this country, the legal correct?
Yes.
Do you think after, let's say they take away 10, 15, 20,000 of these so-called gangbangers and fellow people, are they then going to go after the tens of millions of others
Yes.
that are in this country?
Yes, they are. We got something coming up on that, so you may want to listen up because we're going to be talking about that in just a minute or two.
Oh yes.
All right. Hey, last question. I got to go. You mentioned a deal that you guys are working on.
We are.
Maybe syndicate or. All right. I'm not going to say anything. All right.
You just hang in there, Charlie.
Yeah,
Hang in there.
we had some chats over Friday and Saturday. I did, so
Yes.
we're working.
All right. Cool. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.
Rayford, real quick,
Mhm.
because you're a flyer.
I
You're
am.
going to have to be very wary if you want to fly Spirit Airlines
You
of
mean
what
I
you're
gotta
going to
dress
wear.
appropriately? I'm
Mhm.
wearing a tuxedo and a bulletproof vest.
So if you had plans to be inadequately clothed, wearing see-through clothing that exposes breast, buttocks, or private parts, you now can't fly on Spirit Airlines.
What's wrong with my
You
my
can't
breast?
wear those chaps you wanted to wear on there. You can't do
Chaps?
it. Yep,
What's wrong with chaps? I mean, if I ride a horse, I got to have chaps,
the
right?
buttless chaps that you
The
have. You
buttless
can't
chaps.
wear those.
You
No.
Have you
remember
been in
back
my
in the-
drawer again?
I remember you showed me a picture. So
Remember back in the day when people they did fly, they always kind of dressed
Oh, you had to dress up to go to
nice.
church or
Yes,
fly.
dress up to go to church,
Absolutely.
dress up to go to funerals. I'm still that way. I just feel like it's more respectful. For me, that's just my opinion.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, I realize that you dress to be comfortable nowadays, like when you do fly.
Uh-huh.
But some of the stuff I've
I'm
seen
going to
these
tell you
people
what.
wear
The
to church
the
and to
place that I
funerals.
go, one of the, that I fly most of the time when I go, is going to be a place called Bonaire.
Mhm.
It's
Yes.
known as the license plates got on the bottom of it. Their slogan is Divers Paradise. Do you know who flies to Bonaire other than divers?
Sprint.
People who are there with divers.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
I was like,
airlines.
what is he trying to say? Yeah.
You'll find
Yeah.
a few bird watchers go.
Uh-huh.
You'll find some aged out divers going because we still like the area
Mhm.
Right.
for other than just diving. But it's you get aboard an airplane and you're going to find people, their packs and their carry-on luggage and stuff like that. You know, what do you carry in your carry-on that you got to have on your airplane, that you got to take with you when you fly somewhere on vacation?
Take a book.
Anything else on your carry-on?
Yes. My
Yes.
snacks.
I take a
Benadryl.
backpack, and in
Yeah.
my backpack,
You know what
Glasses.
divers carry?
Probably diving gear.
Well, we carry some.
An oxygen tank, maybe? I
No,
don't know.
no, no. We can't die with oxygen, but
Okay.
we rent all the tanks and heavy stuff.
Okay.
Right.
But we pack most of our gear, but things like regulators, they're
Yeah.
relatively
So like
frac-
equipment stuff, yeah.
reg- Yeah, if it gets lost or is missing for a day or whatever, it catches the next flight.
Yeah.
You've missed a day of diving.
Right.
Without renting something that's going to cost a lot of money. So we carry our regulator, we carry our dive computers, we carry things that are basically essentials.
I carry stuff I don't want
I
stolen
don't
on my
have
bag.
to have clothes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm wearing enough to get by with for 2 or 3 or 4 days. It doesn't matter.
Right.
And you can buy T-shirts at times 3 for $10.
Yes.
So what?
That's what
they
I'd be
don't
doing.
last but one vacation. But that's beside the point. You can't get by without your dive gear if you're going there
Makes
for
sense.
diving.
I agree with that.
So you carry that with you. And God help the person that is walking through the airport and tries to steal a diver's luggage, his carry-on. You are
I'm
not.
assuming that's a fight.
You
Yeah.
are no. It's a melee. Forget the fight part. You lose. Done. So things like that is what we carry, and we dress appropriately. You will find flip-flops, sandals. Probably on some airlines, they're not going to let you. They don't. When we used to fly what they call non-rev, because I flew with U.S. Air, because sometimes I got tickets that were, didn't cost me a lot of money, because I'd done some work for U.S. Air too, photo work. And so I got to fly kind of like an employee at times. But you got to wear closed-toed shoes. Women, that's always important, because women have to do that. And even if you're a guest of the person flying non-rev, you've got to be dressed appropriately. You can't be wearing cutoffs and sloppy clothes and stuff like that, because you're representing the airlines.
Makes sense.
Okay. And closed-toed shoes, no toes sticking out, no flip-flops, no sandals, open-toed sandals, nothing like that. You can't wear high heels either.
Why would anybody want to
'cause
wear
there are
high
idiots
heels on
out
a
there.
plane? I see it a lot, and I'm
Yeah.
like, why?
Yeah. So that's the way it was. I haven't
Yeah.
flown that way in 20 years, but
Like
that's
that.
the way it used to be.
Just in general, why do people wear high heels?
I
on a
don't
plane?
know. How are you going to get off of that plane in a hurry?
Well, I'm
if you
thinking
need
that's
to?
my thing. That
Well, you're supposed to take your shoes off if there's an impending
I don't
crash
have
coming.
time
Well, I
to take
don't
my
got
shoes
time
off.
to
I'm not
shoes
taking
off.
my shoes
no, I'm
off.
keeping my shoes on, but also just walking nowadays through airports that are big, depending on what airport you're out of.
Yeah.
That's a lot of walking.
Yeah.
And why? Nobody cares what your feet look like
My
with
feet
shoes.
hurt. My feet hurt
Yeah.
with great shoes.
Same. Like, no, I'm
So-
not. I'm not
Good
wearing
old pair of
heels.
Nikes or Brooks. That's what I wear. I can run.
In less than a week,
Mhm.
1 week from today, we got a new president. 1 week ago today, well, the president of Colombia. and
I love it.
I'm talking about that country way down south, right?
Mhm.
The center of drug production in South America, has taken a about face after refusing to let the United States fly misfit illegals back home.
Mhm.
We were packing them up and we sent them back there. They turned away 2 planes. Not exactly sure what happened, but President Gustavo Petro told President Trump's
Two.
folks that he will allow those who ran from their homes for reasons unknown to come back home. In fact, all of the illegals will be given rides back to Colombia on President Pedro's plane.
Mhm.
How about that? He set
Yeah.
his own plane up.
Because
He's picking them up
he originally
home.
refused to.
to let them land.
Trump threatened to kick the diplomat out, and B
Yep.
threatened to pull all these tariffs. He just shut that right down. I think it's
25%
awesome.
the first week.
Trump,
Yeah.
Trump had
Didn't it?
plans, and he told them,
Love
my
it.
plans are, you want us to keep these people, it's going to cost you a lot of money. Huge tariff, what, 25%?
It was
That's
amazing.
right.
Yeah.
For all U.S. imports coming from Colombia. Pedro had a change of heart. Don't know what happened. In saving face, the Colombian government released a statement that said, providing the plane would
Right.
assure the illegals
Right.
from Colombia they would have a dignified return to their native country.
They came in handcuffs. I mean, come on
I
now.
would not want to be on that plane.
Trump
Well,
don't play.
I love it. And
They're not
Brazil
gonna-
got a plane the other day.
Yeah, they're not going to get a hero's welcome when
No.
they get home. I can tell you
Well,
that.
Brazil was mad. So some of the people on that plane were talking about they weren't allowed to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
They weren't
Of
fed.
course, there's always something.
Whatever. I
And then we
mean,
had some gangbangers.
yeah, they were some of them on there.
Let me say, F Trump, go Biden.
Yeah, that was that guy from
one of them.
Haiti.
Yes.
I'm not going back.
Oh, yes, you are.
Maybe I bet he's already back.
Oh, he's there.
Yeah.
And I like that video where Holman goes, "Oh, Yeah, you're going.
You ever
back.
seen a C-130 come in very low on an emissions? and
Yes.
Drop cargo?
When I was in Japan, yes.
We're talking about at, 30, 40 feet off the
Right.
ground, it
I've
looks
seen it.
like.
Yep.
And the back of the thing ramp goes down and
Yep.
suddenly something
Yes.
comes out and then
Yep.
lands.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Those are the bad guys.
Oh, I know. Just
Well, that's the way
open
we're
that
going
back
to
and
drop
just
them.
tumble them all out of there.
That's the way
Yeah.
we'll drop you from
Yeah.
30
Hey,
feet up.
if
Yeah,
Columbia-
you might live.
If Columbia doesn't want them, what makes them think we need them?
We don't want
Well,
them.
the
We
reason-
don't need them.
Well, the reason
That's
they're
right.
here is Columbia's like, go.
I know. That's
Go
what
on.
I'm saying. So
No.
too bad for
They're
them.
going back.
They're going back.
Well, I love the videos in Boston. Even they were up there.
Oh, yeah.
Beating on the doors and arresting them.
Open
And I'm
the
really
door.
surprised that Boston's liberal mayor, who
Oh,
was
they can't stop them.
she
That's
hasn't
right.
said a word, but she
Good
she
luck.
vowed to defy him. But nobody cares about what she
Talk
thinks.
is easy and cheap.
Yeah.
Does
Mhm.
anyone think that this president that we've got now will get the border wall built? Do you think that border wall is finally going to be built and that Mexico is going to pay for it one way or the other? I think Mexico is going to pay for it. I'm sorry, Theo, but Mexico is going to end up paying for this wall. 25% tariff, we'll pay for that wall. And those companies are going to leave Mexico because of these tariffs.
Mhm.
If you don't get control over the drug activity coming out of Mexico, we've already declared the cartel as terrorist.
Yes.
We declared Osama bin Laden a terrorist. We went into another country, Pakistan. Remember? We went into Pakistan, did not tell them we were coming. We crossed the border into Pakistan with a load of SEALs. What did we leave with? A dead Osama bin Laden.
Yeah.
And all of the
that's
SEALs.
truth.
Left behind several dead people.
That's true.
Things are going to happen here, y'all. One weekend, and we finally are looking like a country where the government cares about us for a change.
Yes.
And
I have to agree.
caring about us is getting rid of the riffraff, bringing that under control. Our two biggest complaints, southern border, which was bringing in all the drugs and all the scum, border state. We've got people coming across the border and ending up in North Carolina. We got them everywhere,
Everywhere. That's right.
every state. They've shown that.
That's right.
Some interesting quick news stories here this morning. You ready?
Well, go right ahead with
Border czar Tom Homan warned that
Homan.
daily deportation numbers are set to rise in the coming weeks as President Trump's administration begins to expand its operations. This is for you, Charlie, if you're listening. The border chief says the administration is currently only targeting violent illegal aliens, but that will soon change. Border security is one of the two top priorities that Americans have demanded for the past couple of years. An improved economy is the other. Now, think about along the way I think. It's probably bad for you, but do it. I'm one of those that is tired of providing for illegals to come here and offer nothing but problems for us. Okay, we get rid of them, we get rid of the problems. I've heard the argument that our farmers could not make ends meet without migrant workers. I had that discussion, and it was almost heated with a person a week or two ago. Since many Americans would rather collect unemployment and welfare benefits than take a job. Okay, so cut those benefits. Think about it. Cut out those unemployment benefits that are allowing these people just not to go to work. Cut out the welfare benefits for these people who say they can't get a job when there are jobs that are being offered. No, it ain't necessarily your cup of tea. Simply not because it ain't your cup of tea, because you're too dang lazy to get out there and work. Okay, so cut the benefits. And Americans would rather work than starve. I don't care what you do. When you see a man that's hungry, he will get out there and he will go to work. All right. On top of that, if we do not provide support to the illegals, that also saves us money. So we're helping the economy by not supporting the illegals that are here, not supporting the bums, the lazy Americans that are here that won't work. So that's also saving us tax dollars, right? Got it.
Right.
That helps the economy. Obviously, we have migrant workers now and have had these migrant workers here. We've got them in Duplin County, for instance. They pick cucumbers, they pick strawberries, but they are legal. They
Right.
come in under a migrant visa,
They do.
a work visa. All right.
Right.
They are legal. They're legal workers, not illegal ones.
Right.
Federal drug agents. They hit a nightclub out there in Colorado, and that's a nice word for what this place was called. It ain't a nightclub, it's a joint. Snatched up about 50 illegals. 50 illegals. These are federal agents, okay? Drug agents supported by a whole bunch of other federal agencies. The club was a hangout for the vicious Venezuela gang known as TDA, because I can't pronounce it. Go ahead, your turn.
Yeah.
Kelly?
What?
TDA, pronounce it, not TDA. The name of the
TDA or TDS?
TDA, the group, the gang.
Tren de la Aragua.
TDA.
Yeah.
It was a makeshift nightclub in Adams County, Colorado.
Yeah.
That was invitation only. Drugs, guns, and other weapons
How do you get an
cash
invitation for that?
and cash were seized in the Sunday raid.
Mhm.
You had to have a special knock at the door.
Yeah, a password, a secret password. Yeah.
Along with the federal DEA agents, they had agents from ATF. Pretty much every federal agency assisted except the Internal Revenue Service. And I got some word for you IRS people out there. You gun-toting IRS individuals.
They carry guns?
Some of them do.
They
They have an investigation. You may be sent out to do other things and work for the IRS. Y'all, every federal agent can be snatched up and put into service kicking doors.
Didn't know that.
For drug doors, yeah.
Okay.
Now think about this for a couple seconds.
Okay.
Putting together such a large-scale operation that they did in Adams County, Colorado to hit this joint takes a little bit of time. Your husband knows you don't do things like that spur of the moment.
Correct.
We know that such operations have not been a priority for the previous administration, so therefore these plans were not going on then. Trump has only been on the job for a week. Those plans didn't start a week ago. If you're realistic, if you got any brains whatsoever, you're likely able to understand that the heads of those agencies that we've heard about visiting the president-elect for the last 2 months in Mar-a-Lago, November election, they were briefed on what the new sheriff in town expects to happen. Those that could get on board, they got to stay. They had to come up with a plan. There's no doubt about that. This plan that went off like clockwork the other night, that didn't happen in a week. You can't put together that many federal agents from different agencies to hit that place. A couple months would give the feds just about the right amount of time to pull off that raid.
True that.
It was not a spur of the moment raid. It was precision clockwork. Anyone want to bet how many more operations are in the works right now?
Oh, I'm sure there's a list.
Oh, baby.
Yeah.
Prepare thyself. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. This guy's called ICE. Officers arrested a number of child sex offenders as well as gang members and other criminals. Different raids now among the more than 530 illegal immigrants. And it caught on another day, one day of the mass deportation campaign that began last week. Included were 16 gang members. That included 4 belonging to the bloodthirsty TDA Venezuelan gang, separate from the drug raid and the seizure out there in Colorado. This is a separate operation. You can throw in a number of idiots still walking our streets belonging to the Salvadorian spawn MS-13 pukes.
Yeah.
They got popped too.
Yeah, they were.
Okay,
yeah,
MS-13, you got TDA. They rounded up a bunch. Along with the violent criminals, more than 1,000 people. Charlie, this is for you. More than 1,000 people, not the violent criminals, some business-oriented individuals, people who we came here as business people. They entered the country illegally. They slipped in with whatever came in, maybe aboard their private jets, maybe aboard whatever, and they've just been staying around. They were taken into custody. They're being shipped back to where they belong, just like all the scum. Included in the roundup are a lot of convicted sex offenders, sexual predators, child sex predators, rapists, and those are people that have managed to sneak into the country undetected because of lax security protocols. These are people that had been convicted in their own countries but managed to get into this country because we didn't take them out when they got here.
Well, did you see who else they rounded up? And I think it was in Virginia, but I'm not positive that it was there.
I think I know who you're talking about.
The terrorist from Turkey?
Yep. Got him.
Yeah.
He's been hanging around here.
And on the terrorist list.
We know it.
That's what, the average citizen may want to realize. Why this guy wasn't here to take a, vacation. He was here plotting and planning.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping.
I hope a bunch of cells get
when they arrested him, I hope they have traced hopefully back to some of his communications he's made with other people.
Oh, yeah.
Because
And
we
just
need to
know-
know what they were
And
plotting.
just know we've been paying for his stay.
Yes, I know.
No doubt at all. We've been paying for his stay.
Well, wonder where they're going to take that guy because they know he's a known terrorist
There are
from
places
Straight to
Turkey.
Guatemala.
Places.
You're taking him to Guantanamo, maybe?
No, hope not.
Yeah.
Take him, put him right in there, and shut the door.
It's too obvious down there.
Yeah. Well, then just
Some
bullet
of
to the head
it is
and be done with
too
it.
obvious
Like,
today. Yeah, some of those being nailed have been convicted here in this country for violent crimes. We got people been convicted in this country for violent crimes, but for one reason or another, in spite of a request from the feds, I want to put a detainer on this person. So when he or she gets out of jail on bond or whatever, you let us know because we'll snatch them up and send them out of here.
well, just remember, I
And they
hear
didn't
you.
do it. But they have
Right.
now they were released on bond or whatever. Local jurisdictions have been protecting them. Those days are going to be behind us.
I hope so.
Good. Among those 200 plus executive orders that President Trump signed, 10 orders related to the border.
Yeah.
10 orders
Yes.
that I could count. There may be more, including orders to restart the wall construction,
Love it.
end parole programs,
Mhm.
Yes, there you go.
limit birthright citizenship, and mine that I kept harking about for how many years since you've known me, deploy the military to the border.
And
Well, that's actually what they've already been started
That's
being
what I
deployed.
said.
That was sent this
That's
summer,
what I
this
said.
weekend.
500
Our-
troops coming from Camp Pendleton.
Our federal aid is going to be working a lot for a while. Bring them on.
And I saw something, and I don't even know where I saw it now, where somebody was complaining that the military was being used. And I thought about it. Hold up. Isn't that kind of the whole point of having a military? It's not just to deploy and kick butt and kill all over the world. It's also to defend our country.
Yeah.
If you're at the border, you're defending our country. Like these
It's to
naysayers.
stop the invasion.
Yes.
This is a border. This is a U.S.
I agree
invasion.
with that.
If you
Yeah.
had dropped them like they did in Red Dawn and the first
Yeah.
Red Dawn, the original Red Dawn,
original
dropped them by
state, yeah.
parachutes into this
Yeah.
country, there is no difference in what's been going on coming across that border. That may as well be a parachute.
Well,
But
the
they have-
president.
Would we have reacted to that if they dropped them by parachutes?
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely would.
So what? That's what I'm saying. What is
Who
the
would have
difference?
gone after them if they dropped them in by parachutes? The
Our
military.
Yes.
What
that's
is the difference?
You have to remember the president signed an emergency order.
Yes, he did.
We're under a state of emergency
Yes,
on
we
the
are.
borders.
Should have
So bring in the military.
Yeah,
That's what they're there for.
But there, there's always a complainer, and it was
There's
some
always a
big
complainer.
Democrat complaining.
I don't
I'm
care.
like,
You just
You
may
know,
well go home and
and
have a
my-
drink and shut up.
Yeah, really.
Normally, when
Yeah.
arrests are made on criminals, they have a day in court. But when those rounded up have no legal status in the United States, evicting them seems to be the most expedient and most efficient ways of handling the problem. Okay, you're a criminal. How long does it take you to get to court? You are an illegal alien in this country and you manage to post bond. How long does it take you to get to court? A year? Maybe 2?
we've got people here
3,
that in 2 or 3 years haven't been to
4,
court yet. So
5 years?
10. I mean,
Hey, first
pick
of all-
a number.
First of all, try to find them. If they're out on bond, look for them.
Yes.
Good luck on that
Yeah.
one.
How did they get bond? But I hear you.
Because they didn't have any record to indicate that they would not show up for trial.
Mhm.
Bull. You're here illegally. That's an opportunity for you not to show up for trial.
Yes.
Duh.
And do you think they'll show up? No.
No.
I
I
say
wouldn't.
bag them, tag them, and send them packing.
Bag 'em and
Can't
tag 'em.
argue it, Rayford. Just can't argue it.
Now, let's go to another agency called the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA. You know how you pronounce CIA?
Yeah, go ahead, tell us.
See ya.
Okay.
COVID just won't die, nor will the conspiracy surrounding the efforts to keep its origins a secret from us. The CIA has finally decided, with the encouragement, I'm sure, from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, to reveal the administration assessment of the origin. I'm not talking about today's administration. I'm talking about Biden's administration.
Okay.
They had a secret, but they didn't want to reveal it. In spite of the original claims that an infected animal that was sold at an open-air market in China, whether it was a dog, a cat, or whatever hanging out there for food, later information that slipped out but was quickly swept under the rug appears to be true, that the most likely cause of the pandemic, in which Biden's administration knows, but they didn't want to let the world know, was because of a lab-related incident, they're calling it, in Wuhan. Why do we call it the Wuhan virus? Because it came from Wuhan's lab. The CIA continues to look at both research-related and natural origin scenarios of the pandemic remain, and they say it is plausible that it came out of that lab. Plausible means likely in their words.
Well, yeah.
The spook guys are not nearly as likely to be involved in this being a natural origin scenario. Think about that. If this was any indication it was a natural origin, if it was a significant indication that it came about naturally, as so many viruses are born, the CIA would not be involved. They got other things to do.
Yeah.
Or even if it was an accidental issue at the research lab, they would look at it and find out, okay, it looks accidental. There's nothing here for us to see or do. Move on. They got it contained. It's a done deal, right? CIA doesn't involve itself in that. Got it? They want to know why it was created. That's going to be their first job. Why did you come up or develop this virus in the first place? What was your purpose? And most importantly, whether the release was intentional, whether it could have perhaps been a test to see how deadly it was, we now know, and a test to show how governments around the world, especially the United States, would deal with the deadly outbreak. How would we react to it? And as importantly, how would the people react? Would the people who are infected turn on our governments? To understand how these subversive countries work.
And the
reason they got the CIA there is because these spooks know what they're doing. They finally have been given green light.
Well, half the lab workers are dead anyway. You know, the original head of the lab, even, they all died early in the pandemic.
Good.
So should have been first clue that it wasn't what, when they announced that one guy that was head of the lab died, and I tell you that's what it originated from.
We know the countries like China are not so concerned on how to deal with a war on an enemy next year. We know that they don't care about next year, the year after, 10 years from now. That's not what their goal is. Those countries make plans for the future, way far in the future. Yeah. Iran's the same way. They do the same thing. They don't think like we do. They don't think about protecting our borders for the next 2 or 3 or 5 years. All right. They think about 15, 20, 50 years down, perhaps so far in the future that none of us currently living will even be alive by the time they decide to launch a controlled attack. They're planning for 100 years from now, 50 years from now. China is not planning to take over this country in the next 5 years. They're laying the groundwork.
Oh, yeah, that's what they're doing. Look what they own in North Carolina.
Think about that for just a minute. If you don't see the likely plan of action here by countries like China, we need to head them off at the pass. We need to play the Cowboys routine. Head them off at the pass.
Yeah.
Y'all want to talk about it? 910-333-0139. I've talked long enough. I'm about to get hoarse.
Well,
you don't take a breath.
Okay, well, over the weekend. I
talked all weekend, too.
I bet you did.
There was a video that came out about that state senator from Oklahoma. Did you see that traffic stop?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the one that got arrested?
Yes.
Yes.
And handcuffed?
Wasn't she a mayor or what?
No, she's a state senator.
That's right. The state senator. Yeah.
Her name is Regina Goodwin. She's a Democrat.
She thought she was special.
Well, luckily, the deputy, who was very cool-headed the whole time, had his body camera on, and his body cam did it recorded everything. And all the man asked, she ran two separate stop signs. Mm-hmm. Okay. All he asked her for was her license. That's all he said.
And then she broke bad.
And then she acted a pure fool.
You know who I am? Yeah. That was coming next.
Yeah. Well, I knew that. Then she accused him of targeting her driving while black.
Oh my
and luckily,
gosh.
Was she black? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, she's black.
Yeah. And he's Hispanic, but even her attorneys, once that video came out, couldn't argue it because she kept saying the officer was escalating. When I tell you, if you've watched this video, this man deserves, I mean, this just shows how whatever training he's had has been good. He was calm the whole time. I mean, and she was just being hateful.
You know what the best part of it was? When he put the cuffs on her.
And then
Can you hear them clicking?
and she couldn't,
That's
you
what I
know,
always
couldn't
like to hear.
understand it. And then she kept saying, "Well, I didn't refuse to give you my license." Well, no, yes, you did. It's right on. Like it. This whole. Thank God for a body cam.
Don't argue with them. Well, I got the proof. Don't worry about it.
And
The
she
court will
kept
decide.
on, and
Judge will decide.
look. Let me tell you what her attorney said, who saw
Oops.
it.
Can we make a deal?
Her attorney said, and I quote,
She had a
"I realize you have a job to do, officer. I realize Senator Goodwin can be a little bit strong-headed at
You
times,
think?
but don't you think you can write her a citation or something? She'll give you her license."
Not anymore.
And the cop said, "Yeah, I can do that. I don't need to ask her 10 times for a license," because he did. The attorney said, "I saw it and I realize."
Well, she ran 2 stop signs to begin with. Now, if she can get away with running stop signs, why can't I get away with running stop signs? I mean, the law is the law. Traffic is traffic. But what if she had run a stop sign
And
hit somebody?
How many
And
times
there'd
do
been
we see
serious
that happen?
injury or death.
We talked about that this morning
Yes,
Yeah.
before the show.
yes.
At the same intersection.
The same intersection, yes.
Somebody ran a stop sign in 2 different cases. One
Yes.
you know about, one I knew about, involving friends of mine.
And
And
law enforcement officers getting hurt. Yes.
I mean, you can't, but, you know, and he's right. He said, look, I originally was going to give this woman a warning.
Mm-hmm.
And then she acted a fool.
Well,
Come on now.
you just pooped in the place where you eat it, lady. You're screwed up.
Well, not only that, I mean, he eventually released her at the scene with a citation for failure to stop at a stop sign.
And that's all he charged her with?
Yep. I mean, this guy was very level-headed.
So he finally got her driver's license from her. She finally gave it.
Her attorney came in apparently the attorney said, "You give this man your license."
She had to wait. The officer waited for the attorney to get there?
Yeah, he was
he's got a
very
lot more patience than I
level.
got.
I'm saying, and people that have watched this video are really commending this officer. I mean, she acted a fool.
Sir,
Right.
you can meet us at the station. We'll be there,
Listen,
and you can tell her to give me her license at that time if you chose. Right now, she's under arrest. I'm not going to unarrest her. Come along, lady.
She represents Oklahoma's 11th district, and she was elected to the state senate back in November.
Mhm.
And then previously, she was in the House of Representatives for 10 years. So she went from House to their state senate.
She got the big head.
She's got a February 25th court appearance that they said unless she pays it ahead of time.
She could pay.
I
But
don't-
this video
Well,
was ended
she
up
would have to go in
charging
and-
with.
She'd have to go in and plead, I think. Well, maybe run in a stop
But let
sign,
me
you
tell
can
you
plead.
something. Even
Good
though he
practice.
backed down and only charged her with running the stop signs, it's out. It's
Yeah.
a video.
Oh,
It's
this
going
video,
fire.
you need to watch it.
So,
Like it's on,
there you
it's
go.
online.
Pay
I
your
mean,
fine, but the
I
this
saw
video.
it.
guy is good.
I saw it, but I
Like,
didn't have time to watch.
Good for him.
Absolutely.
Because some probably went toe to toe with her, but he didn't have to.
Oh,
Because he's wrong.
What would you've done, Rayford? I'd locked
Rachel would have
her.
done. As soon as she acted out, he would have
Careless and
done.
reckless, endangerment,
Ma'am,
resisting arrest, anything I could think of.
Deputy Frank, I forgot his rank.
Mhm.
Was it Frank? Bill? Bubba? Somebody in that's
Highway Patrol?
in no, that used to be, but in
Errant. Frank Errant is who I'm thinking of. Go ahead.
Arizona or New Mexico, there's a deputy out there. He works traffic,
Mhm.
and he's on Mr. John Legato's videos that he posts on
Oh,
podcasts a lot.
Yes.
And this guy is a star. He is a rock
I
star.
saw that one.
I need your license and registration. I'm a sovereign citizen. I don't have to
Yep.
give you my license. I said, well, you don't have to, but if you don't give me your license, I'm going to have to arrest you and yada, yada, yada. And he said, you can't arrest me. And he said, if you don't give me your license, and it doesn't matter, factly, I'm going to
Yes.
reach in there and I'm going to take you and I'm going to drag you out of your car. And then I'm going to put you in mine and take you to jail. He hasn't had to do that yet because he does it in such a way as he sits there and he
It's
just
not
holds-
confrontational.
No, it's just
No.
here are the facts. This is the way it's
I'll
going to
tell
go down. I will tell you now so that you're not surprised.
It raises
That's
my
what he
blood
does.
pressure watching
This
his
right here,
videos.
but this is an example of why if I were a law enforcement officer,
Oh,
I would not work if I didn't have body cam.
Oh, well, yeah, that's what
I
they
mean,
have today.
also county sheriff's deputies have it.
Yes, they do.
JPD does not, which I don't understand. But
Well, they will. They will get them.
I hope so, because I mean, this protects the officer just as much as it does citizens, for example. But I would not, if I were a cop, I would not work without body cam. I wouldn't do it.
Way before body cams, they had controversy among police officers. Was,
Yeah.
oh my God, you're going to put a camera in my squad car? You go, oh my Lord, everything I do is going to be on.
Well, what are you worried about?
Well, you worry about it when you're a cop. Oh God, have I done anything at all?
I know.
What kind of minor thing can they get me on? Are they going to be out to get me? Every time I come in, is the sergeant going to say, "Oh, you remember when you picked your nose when you got it?" You know, things like that.
I know.
That's what they'll do.
Yeah.
You forgot to say "sir" or "ma'am."
But it protects you.
It does.
Protects the officers.
They have found out, and they put them in breathalyzer rooms too, which is a great place to have one.
Oh yeah,
Because you are now convicted once you get into a breathalyzer room and cut the full. Resisting arrest. I didn't resist him when you're sitting there fighting and clawing and
yes.
That it doesn't take a jury long to see what kind of individual you are. You're guilty. Let's go down to Alabama.
Let's go to Alabama.
What's happening in
Sweet
Alabama?
home Alabama.
Nothing. I just want to know what is in the water there. What do the women there drink? Earlier this month, Miss Alabama won Miss America pageant.
did.
She's the fourth one. Fourth Miss Alabama.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what made it newsworthy to me. She's the fourth one. I'm like, that's pretty cool. And but anyway, so Alabama's, you make fun of it all you want.
I like Alabama. It's just hot.
You competed with every state in the union.
Right.
So it is cool. Right? It's just the way it works. Now I went back a little bit. Did you know that Miss America 2024? She is an Air Force officer. When she was selected as Miss America, she was an Air Force officer,
Yes,
a lieutenant in the Air Force, the first one ever. First active duty Air Force officer to be crowned Miss America.
How does that work?
I don't know.
How
Madison
do you
Marsh.
get time off?
Marsh is hoping her victory will inspire others in more ways than one.
Absolutely.
So
Kudos
anyway,
to
she was
her.
23 years old from Arkansas.
Yeah.
Previously had the title of Miss Colorado, and then she entered the 2024 Miss America pageant. And she says, I was at the Air Force Academy sitting in the library, and a young cadet and her mom had come up to me and asked if I was Miss America, and I said yes. They told me that she was really on the fence and did not think she was going to go into the Air Force, but she did.
Good for her. She's a beautiful woman.
Yep. They all are.
Beautiful.
So,
even more beautiful for the fact that
Absolutely.
she's in the
she's
military.
an American hero
That's right.
all the way around. So I kind of quit being too funny with what I want is world peace. Well, this woman is going out there to ensure that we get world peace.
She says you shouldn't have
I'm
to
doing my part.
sacrifice your personality.
That's right. I'm doing it. So I like it. I
Good
won't.
for
I won't.
her. Yeah, I'm still
I
getting.
might make some
glow.
about the Air Force, but I'm just kidding. Just kidding. guys.
Everybody likes to make jokes about the Air
You
Force.
mean the Chair Force?
The Chair
You better
Force. Yeah,
stop.
you should have heard my dad. Oh my gosh! Anytime he'd meet somebody, he'd say, "What branch of service were you in?"
Yeah.
And if they didn't say Marines, he'd say, "I'm sorry." I'm like, "Dad, stop."
I had. I've got a good friend. He's in BLET right now.
Great,
But,
great.
And, y'all have met him, John.
Yes, yes,
And John was Air Force
yes.
and is Air Police, and he's the first one that said when we put his name in the computer, and he said, "Just so you know who I am, just put down Chair Force beside my name."
He is funny. John is.
He is
nut.
hilarious.
He is so
And,
funny.
And he said, when we went out camping, the roughing part was when we had to go to a lower echelon Howard Johnson motel or a Holiday Inn in another country. They didn't give us the prime places. We knew we were roughing it when we had to stay at the Holiday Inn.
Yeah,
My husband was Air Force. That's what I know. Robin.
How
was
many
Air
times did he
Force.
go camping in the Air Force, sleeping under a tent?
Intelligence.
Uh-huh.
So he did a lot of other things.
Yeah, so he didn't camp out. He didn't play in tents.
He had the chair job. He didn't have to do tent.
No, I'm not gonna say that, but he wasn't. He was undercover. So literally.
I got jokes about that too, but we won't.
Yeah,
It's all right, Robin. You're good.
We were just joking.
No, I've known a lot of Air Force guys, and they're great. There was one that I did not know he had been in the Air Force in Nam, but he was not a pilot, because everybody mistakes everybody in the Air Force as being a pilot, right?
Oh, I know
I'm in the
this
Air
him
Force, don't you
calling.
fly?
I know this him calling.
It
Yeah,
is,
it
yeah.
is. So we got to hear all about his undercover
but
days.
this one
China
guy, he
man.
was a magistrate when I met him, and I knew he had been in the
China
Coast
man.
Guard. But after Vietnam, he was in the Air Force in Vietnam, and then I found out just in the latter few weeks of his life,
Right.
that in Vietnam, he and a Marine were up on a hill. They were resupplying the planes that were in the helicopters that were coming in, loading them with explosives and loading them with supplies to go here, there, and everywhere. And a lot of those supplies were like hand grenades and bullets and stuff like that. But their hill was being overrun. There were only 2 of them there. They called in for reinforcements, calling in for help. This Air Force guy and a Marine. They were the 2 people. Only 2 on this hill.
Right.
Well, they had plenty of ammo. And he says, we threw hand grenades. I had never thrown a hand grenade in my life. He said, but I was throwing a hand grenade rolling down that hill, waiting for reinforcements to get there.
Yeah.
We have no idea how many people died. But when the backup came, when they got there, they had bodies everywhere.
That's good.
And they still had the hill. Good morning, Robin. How are you?
Good morning, guys. I hear you're blasting my beloved Air Force.
Oh, we just talk about the Chair Force and, roughing it at the Holiday Inn, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, so let me, not to sound defensive, but Air Force has got some of the best special operations people in the world.
You do.
Go to my hometown.
You got some special units.
Hometown in Hobart Field, which is in Fort Walton Beach, home of the Air Force Special Ops. And you become a pararescueman, the guy that jumps out of the helicopters to save down pilots, etc. They've got one of the toughest schools in the military, where there's an 80% dropout rate.
Yep.
And when I was in the Air Force, I was deployed to the Philippines working counter intel, and we didn't rough it. We didn't sit in a hotel. We were out in the field. What they used to call ADGD, which is Air Base Ground Defense Forces, which are Air Force guys. They go out, they go to specialized training, and some of them go to Ranger School. In fact, when I was in the Air Force, I tried desperately to go to Airborne School and to go to Ranger School, because I wanted to be, when I first came in the Air Force, I wanted to be a forward air controller, which meant I would be going in, jumping out of planes with SEAL teams and stuff like that, establishing. Why? Because I guess that's the kind of person I was.
I mean, jumping out of an airplane.
In my junior and senior year, I came very close to switching over to the Marine Corps, because at that point I wanted to fly Harriers. But my colonel said that we need you in intel. Long story short, yeah, you could say what you want about the Air Force, but I tell you what, ask any of the ground units, especially the Marines, when they're pinned down in Afghanistan or Iraq, who do they call off for close air support?
Oh, absolutely.
The A-10 Warthog,
absolutely.
the Air Force. They would fly so low that you could reach out and give them a cup of coffee as they flew by.
Well, they should have flown faster planes. Just kidding.
Well, let me tell you, if you've never seen an A-10 in action, which I have, they're remarkable. And let me tell you about the Air Force pilots. I'll tell you this quick story. Kelly knows this, I think. I was in Guantanamo Bay, and I was leaving. I had already done 5 months there, and I was on the tarmac at the airstrip there in Guantanamo, and I befriended a couple of Navy guys that were MAs, Master at Arms. And in Cuba, you have to fly within a 200-mile corridor parallel to the island to land in Guantanamo.
You sure do.
Very strict, because of very strict flight regulations by the Cuban government. Well, I was sitting there, and I see something off in the distance coming perpendicular to the island. And one of the MAs comes up to me and says, "Robin, this is your Air Force, right?" I said, "Yep." And he says, "We got a treat for you. Watch that. You see that speck?" He says, "Watch when it comes in." It was a 130 with about 5 Afghan prisoners in there, and they were flying about 100 feet off the
Low.
And at the last minute, I thought they were going to overshoot the runway. The guy does a complete 90-degree bank. Wingtip to the water surface is probably 40 feet. And he turned and straightway into the runway. And when his wing came over the runway, he must have been 30 feet off the ground, and he flipped the aircraft to make it level, and they popped down, they landed. It took them like less than 5 minutes when they hit the ground to taxi.
Up and gone.
Loaded the back ramp. 5 guys with hoods and chains and handcuffs on come running out with guards. And as soon as they left, the last one left the ramp. That ramp went back up. They taxied out. And this C-130 was what we call a stay-all. In other words, it had short takeoff and landing capability. It had rockets on the side of the C-130. And that C-130 took off so quickly and pulled up and then got up to about 200 feet and then leveled off and went right back the same way they came. Now, you want to talk about something that was a sight to see. Those Air Force pilots, man, they've got some kahunas. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Yeah, I've seen that 130 at an air show with a little booster in the back. When they take off, what is it, 12 feet they roll and then they go straight up or something? That. My God, those things are go.
When I was in Japan, I had to get on a 130 with another agent. And this is when I was with NCIS now. And we were going back to the Philippines to Cuba Point. And we were on the runway, and the cargo master told us that this thing is equipped with the rockets, so be prepared.
Yeah.
So you're sitting in parachute seats, jump seats. We rolled down the runway. We must have been on the runway for maybe 15 seconds when that thing pulled up, and I heard a loud bang. And this aircraft, this big 130, went straight up in the sky, and you should have seen the barf bags coming out. It was hilarious. So I just wanted to throw that plug in. I just wanted to throw that plug in for the Air Force. We're not all Air Force.
They're
some of us.
Everybody's got to have somebody to laugh at. It's like with the Coast Guard. You know what USCG stands for?
No.
Uncle Sam's Confused Group.
And
you know what happened when the Coast Guard boat goes down? The crew just walks ashore. We're in shallow water.
I think that every branch of the military brings something special to the table.
I have a lot of respect for the Marines. I spent 22 years at Camp Lejeune, and I got to admit they're one of the toughest fighting bunches around.
Oh, absolutely.
And the way they do business is top notch. But go Air Force! I got to defend my Air Force, and the Air Force is number one as far as I'm concerned. I love your Marines, but hey, I'm a diehard Air Force vet.
Well, I'm going to tell you one thing. The Air Force has got something right now that branch of service has. They got the prettiest officer ever because she was declared Miss America 2024. She became Miss America while she was active duty in the Air Force.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, ever since I've been in the Air Force, my dad retired from the Air Force after serving 15 years in the Army as well.
Mm-hmm.
Air Force has the most beautiful women in any military branch, bar none. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye. Go Air Force.
Bye, Robin.
I do want to say that I think every branch of the military does bring something special to the table, and I appreciate it.
Every unit, every branch has got specialties. Okay?
That's right.
It's like Robin's talking about the guys dropping down for pilots.
Yes.
It's like in the Air Force.
Oh, yes.
Like in the Coast Guard. Yeah, I was not going to be one of them. That was never, and I love the water.
Right.
But I did not want to ever jump out of a helicopter 30 feet in the air into the water.
I don't think
this rougher than a cob.
Give the Coast Guard enough credit for what they do.
Yeah, that's not my
every
cup of
branch
tea.
of the service. The Army, I mean, those guys are on the ground. And every service, I think, has something special to be proud of.
And the Coast Guard also has a unit very much like NCIS, Coast Guard Investigation, CGI, that they do a marvelous job.
They should do a show on that.
They've had sort of some offshoots of it, but
they've had some in partnership with NCIS, but
offshore today, small craft advisories in effect begins this afternoon, runs through tomorrow morning. Winds out of the west at 10 to 15 knots today, becoming southwesterly 15 to 20. Later today, frequent gusts up to 25. Wow, 25 knot winds. Seas 2 to 4 feet. Sounds and rivers of moderate chop, increasing to choppy in the afternoon. I don't recall a winter that's been this windy. Ever. Maybe it's just me, but I don't recall one. Tomorrow, westerly winds 15 to 20, gusts to 25, diminishing in the afternoon 10 to 15, 2 to 4 footers. Sounds and rivers choppy, diminishing to a moderate chop in the afternoon, but that's just for a few hours. Wednesday, westerly winds 15 to 20, southwesterly 20 to 25 in the afternoon with gusts up to 30 knots. 5 to 7 foot seas, 3 to 5 near shore if you can get there. Sounds and rivers choppy, increasing to rough in the afternoon.
Today, rain, high of 48, with winds only at 6 miles an hour. I'm very happy about that. Tonight, rain likely, mainly before 11 p.m. Then after that, patchy fog and clouds, low of 39. Tomorrow, patchy fog in the morning, and then it will become sunny with a high of 59, with 6 to 10 mile an hour winds and 21 mile an hour gusts. Tomorrow night, clear. I think it's cold, low of 35. And on Wednesday, sunny, high of 65, but it's going to be gusty. But it'll be 65.
8:25, and it's right now 34 degrees here at the studio. My goodness gracious. It's warming up a little bit. Yesterday we got up, I think when I left the sheriff's range out there yesterday afternoon, that area, all the snow had melted except where there was one shady area on the road out there because nobody travels.
Right.
And it was a little icy patch or two there, but the temperature was in the 50s at that
Yes,
time. I thought that was a heat wave.
Nice,
Wow.
nice.
It was nice.
Nice. Hey, I just want to say something real quick about one of our neighbors, Miss Maybelle Tillman, who's a Jacksonville resident, was honored Saturday at her 100th birthday
Happy
party.
birthday. Wow.
Where our mayor honored her with a special proclamation marking January 25th, 2025 as Maybelle Tiny Tillman Day in the city. So happy birthday, Miss Tiny.
Happy birthday. Yeah, she was born on the 25th, huh?
Yeah.
I got a
God
cousin
bless
who
her.
turned 70. What year is this? He turned 78 yesterday.
Wow.
So
100 years of age.
that's amazing.
She's got to have stories.
Oh, yeah.
Good stories.
Maybe some stories that are funny. I bet she's got a bunch
But you
of
go back
hilarious
100 years ago. I mean,
I go back 10 years and I come up with hilarious stuff.
oh, well, just think about the way living was back 100 years ago. Have food lines that we could get in the car and go shopping.
What year is this? 25. 1925. What was going on? We're just out of World War I, which was the Great War. We didn't know it was World War I.
That's right. It wasn't that then.
The 20s were the roaring 20s, but they were steaming towards the Depression. But they were roaring in 25.
That was right around the corner. 29 it was, the big drop.
So she's seen it. Oh, she's seen so much.
Lived through a lot.
I'd love to hear some of her stories.
Oh, my God.
Pretty cool.
This new president, this renewed president, we need something different to call him. He's got a renewal time here, second go round.
How about that?
He's moving full speed ahead. I think he's been working on a plan for the last 4 years, a pretty definitive plan. Part of it was because he had an unfinished plan from 2016. He never got it off the runway, basically. It didn't get off the ground at all. He started the fence, or that was going on, and then we know what happened to a lot of the fencing. It was sold out from underneath us for pennies, about what was it, a nickel on the dollar, for scrap metal or wherever it went. Don't know exactly where it ended up, but it was not pretty that watching that stuff go away. It finally stopped when the media got wind of it.
Right.
And but trucks loaded with it. The fence is not a magic bullet. You understand that?
Right.
It's going to be a slowdown. It's going to be a deterrent.
A deterrent.
It's kind of like putting fencing around your yard.
They're going to find a way.
It's a deterrent.
Not gonna be easy.
It slows people down.
Yes.
And, like I say, if you cross my fence in my backyard and when my alarms all go off, then it's not the easy part that you had coming in. You had plenty of time to do that. It's when you try to get out with me on your butt. That's when the problem lies, right?
Right.
It's not coming into my house that's your problem. It's trying to get out when I get up alive to get out. That's your problem. So we're going to have this fence. I don't think it can be stopped now. I'm not sure who in our House or Senate or even the courts I don't know who's got enough gumption to stand in the way of this one. They stood in the way the first go round, and look what occurred.
Right.
We got worser and worser and worser.
And worse.
Now we're at the worster part.
Now we're at the worster. That's right.
We see a light at the end of the tunnel, many of us, including those who don't like Trump, and that would be me. I don't like the way he's done things. I don't like the way he has acted in his life. There are a lot of people I don't like the way they do things, but sometimes you got to say, okay, you got to give the devil his dues when he can get some stuff done.
Right.
And now he's getting things done in 1 week. If we can reduce greatly and then eliminate the need, the desire for individuals to come breaking into our country, call it what you want. There's nothing different than people coming across the border than somebody breaking into my house. It's burglary.
Right.
Right?
Well, yeah. Unlawful entry.
Unlawful entry, burglarizing. You're coming into my country to do things that are illegal. And when you do, you need to pay the consequences. And the cheapest consequence is to throw your butt back across the border. I think instead of us flying them to Venezuela, put them on a Greyhound or a tractor trailer rig or whatever, and haul their butts down to Mexico. They came in through across the Mexican border. You can go back home. And you can tell all those people in those caravans coming north, if you find any, I think they slowed down.
Sure.
If you find anybody coming up, you can be the greatest deterrent in the world. Tell them how bad it's going to be for them.
Well, hold up. Because a lot of criminals were originally, when they were caught, were released at the border. And they came back.
Yeah, I know that.
So I don't know if I think releasing them at the border is a deterrent because
we kept letting them come back.
Well, I agree, but still.
Remember my bullseye target on their foreheads?
I would drive them farther into Mexico or just.
We can't drive them any further
than parachute them out.
With or without parachutes?
No, with parachutes. I'm not.
Those parachutes are expensive.
That's all right. I mean, I think that.
Oh, here's your greatest thing. Put a sign up there. All illegals on your way to the border, bring your parachute. Bring your own parachute because we're going to drop you back.
Well, I think that
you can pick up a great northerly wind and drop them right over the border. They'll end up in Mexico, several miles if you drop them from about 5,000 feet.
Well, see, I have no no issue with us putting them on planes and taking them back.
Do you know how many millions that we have in this country?
Yes.
Many.
Mm-hmm.
How far are you willing to take them? At what expense?
Well, I mean,
one
it's no different.
Going to hold 200 to 250,
yeah, it's
right?
no different from giving
them
them debit cards.
Giving them the debit cards and housing them and feeding them. We've been doing. You take all that money.
We'll take all that away. Just take that away. They'll give it back to me where it belongs.
FEMA got so many $1 billion to put up housing, and we can't even house our victims of natural disasters.
That's right.
So FEMA got housing money. What, 1.5 billion or whatever?
Take care of illegals.
Yes, housing. So use all that money like it's already there. Let's just move it around and gas up the planes and keep
going. What do you think about
FEMA?
Trump's decision? His proponent is proposing to let's get rid of FEMA.
I'd say overhaul.
I think overhaul.
I don't think we should get rid of it per se, but completely overhaul.
We need to focus on our American citizens right here in the U.S. of A.
Yes.
And instead of the ones that came in illegally.
Mm-hmm. We've got people that work, they're on call for FEMA. I do not know if these people who are on call for FEMA who have regular jobs, okay? I knew one in Wilmington. But every time there was a FEMA call out where they had to send FEMA people to a location, he would have to go. Now, he would be paid, of course, to go. So there's a per diem, and they don't get $1.50 a day for food. You know, they get money, and then they go and they do their thing. These, first of all, they got to be trained. I don't know. I assume that they're going to be on call, and on call you get paid to be on call, right?
Right.
And then you're going to get top buck to leave your job, a paying job, to go do work for the government. But it's going to be really good work, obviously. Now, is this the way it should be done? Is there a better way? Should we have disaster teams? How many do we need? How many disasters is FEMA called out on at one time?
It can be more than one.
There'll be more than one.
You know, if you have a hurricane
we
go
got
through the
fires and
southeast,
hurricanes.
you know, there's several states affected by a hurricane.
Uh-huh.
And so they have to go where they're needed. But I just think, well, there's some people in the mountains that were talking like they still have not heard from FEMA.
Mm-hmm.
They have made phone calls.
If they'd have taken those Trump signs down from their yards, they would have heard from them on day one.
Obviously, I think.
No, that was a fact. They figured that one out.
Oh, yes. But there's still people trying to work their way through that.
Sure.
And permitting process, the disposal process of disposing of what's left there and trying to get that out of the way. I mean, and FEMA should, there's a lot that I think FEMA could be doing.
Well, I agree with that.
But you got to have somebody leading the charge who's not just a bureaucrat.
Right.
And that's what we put in places in the top of our federal government are bureaucrats.
Well, one thing I want to know, since Trump put this mandate last week of return to work, like you have to physically return to your job, not work from home anymore, which I'm all about. I'm wanting to know how many are protesting or that decision, how many have quit or how many are grumbling. And y'all know I'm all about it because I know people that work from home and they tell me what they do all day. So, I mean, and they work in government jobs.
Here's what I would like
I'm
to
just
say.
like, no, go back to work in a building.
Here's what the government needs to say. Okay. You're working from home. Here's what we're going to do. If you want to continue working from home as you have been, if you want us to continue paying you, well, I want to see your Internal Revenue Service reports, your returns for the last 4 years. Whenever you've been working from home, how many of the jobs were you working on while you were working from home and getting paid by me, the government?
Well, how much of that actual 8 hours were you sitting at the computer
like I
working?
I know somebody that works for the government. And they've been working from home since COVID because that was the original reason why they were working from home. And they talk about how they'll log in in the morning, check a few emails.
Sure.
And then they are watching Netflix. They've actually gone shopping.
Yep.
One went to the beach.
Very close to me.
Yes. I mean, they are not working. And also,
all you got to do is log on. I mean, you can buy a computer for nothing and just log on and stay logged on.
I find it very easy if I was sitting at home doing remote to do the same thing.
I mean, and this particular agency, they have a brick and mortar building. So
the lights are on.
Yes.
The air conditioning is on.
Everything. Even got a security guard. Yes, Rayford. There's no reason why these people cannot return to work.
And who's paying for the internet at these people's homes?
All of us.
If they're working from home.
Do
you think they got their own internet? No.
Well, most of them I would say yes.
I don't know. I think they could probably write it off as a business expense or something.
Just wait and see. I'll guarantee you they got some high-speed internet going.
This is just, it's a blatant. And then the hiring freeze of the IRS workers, which I'm all about.
So
because I think IRS, all needs to be all revamped.
Well, I'm all for it. Trump made that statement about just eliminating income tax.
Yep.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Yes.
Because he's saying with tariffs and stuff, you'll have enough money to fund the government. You won't need income tax. Once again, here for
it. If you use it, you pay for it. That's what tariffs are about. If you buy something, you're going to pay a tax on it, right? That's what it's all about. It's called users fees. If you use it, there are some people that do not use a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Why?
I mean, seriously, there are a bunch of people that do not use a bunch of stuff that we're having to pay for.
Exactly.
Well,
so if I'm retired and I'm not using all that stuff, I don't need all that
There's
stuff.
There's a lot of waste in the federal government.
Do you think that I'm having to drive my vehicle like I used to have to drive a vehicle? I didn't have to. I was commuting to Wilmington. Do you think that I use my vehicle? My goodness gracious, I bought a vehicle that had 17,000 miles on it. It was a 2017 model. I bought it in 2020. It's got 40,000 miles on it now. Okay.
Right.
It don't get used much.
Right.
You usually figure 12,000 miles a year on a vehicle if you don't use it much. I
Right.
haven't used mine.
I
that
haven't
much.
even broke 20,000 yet on mine, and I've had the truck 2 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've driven a lot on
Yeah,
mine.
well,
Yeah.
yours is a business. I don't
Yes.
work, so I don't need to do that. I'm not going
Right.
back and forth to
Same with
a
me.
job downtown or anywhere else.
Right.
I go to a doctor once a month in Wilmington. That's my biggie.
hmm Here's a question from one of our listeners. We're talking about FEMA. He said, should the military be redirected to assist FEMA control in disaster situations?
I think
What's
National
your thoughts
Guard,
on that?
National Guard,
yeah.
and
Yes,
that's
they
what
pretty much do.
That's what they're there for.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
Right.
why
They
I'm
do
agree
that.
with that.
So I got no problem with that.
Yeah.
Right.
I've worked with some of those guys down at Curie Beach
Mhm.
when they would come in. My God, they were great because first of all, they had the vehicles. They could get on the beach and didn't worry about all the
Right.
nails and stuff that were there.
Right.
So it worked out fine.
Sure. Sure.
You ever been to an area like a beach town right after a hurricane and try to drive around? Don't do it. Wait for somebody else to go there because buildings are torn down, right?
Right.
Things are out there in the water.
Power
Do
lines
not go to
there's a
the
lot.
forget power lines. Do not go to the beach
Mhm.
after a hurricane for a
Do
long
you
time.
have-
Why? Because those boards that are torn off
Oh,
the
yes.
buildings have got nails
Yes,
sticking
they
through them,
do.
and
Yeah.
they're all out in the water,
I agree with
floating.
that.
They're
Mhm.
under the sand on the beach.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Do you still have a VHS player?
No.
Okay.
I
I've
do.
got a VHS tape,
Mhm.
and it was taken the day after Bertha and then the day after Fran of the beach
Mhm.
in all the homes in. You should see that.
Oh,
I have one,
I've
yeah.
been there
Yes.
doing it.
Yes.
I was
The
at
person that took the video personally gave it to me.
1984,
So-
I was on the beach at Curie Beach,
Right.
south end of the island, right?
Right.
Curie Beach during the storm, during
Mhm.
Hurricane Diana that came through, watching the end of the fishing pier wash away
Yes. Yes.
on video.
Yes.
God, I wish I had all the video I'd ever shot.
Yeah, well, this video is really something. I mean, he was out there. I mean, it shows where the inlet cut through the road. It shows the homes with furniture hanging out of it, and it is just crazy. I'd like to get that.
The reason
Done.
the reason they put a curfew, the reason they block people off from going
Right.
to the beaches, even if you're an owner,
Right.
if you have left that island and you like Carolina Beach and Curie Beach, you've got Topsail, you got all these places, they lock people out.
Yes.
It's not that they're trying to keep you from going to your home. They're trying to keep all the other people
The
that are going to be out there
looters.
going to your home.
the looters.
And they will come there.
Right.
They
Look at the
will-
looters with the fire situation in LA.
Oh, God, yeah. Yes.
And I think if anybody's caught, they need to be thrown directly into jail. No bond, no
Yeah.
bail. I mean, it's just
during
like
Hurricane Hazel, the stories were that some people that had the National Guard there during Hurricane
Right.
Hazel in 1954 at Riceville Beach. People were coming across by boats and taking refrigerators, anything they could,
Mhm.
back across the intercoastal, back to their pickups on the other side. And one unit from the National Guard started shooting at them. They had M14s in those days, or M1s, probably M1s, the National Guard M1s. But they just fired at them.
Right.
They just not trying to hit them, but to let them know that this was not cool.
you know, it's bad enough when you have to evacuate and leave your property
Value-
behind,
Your value.
your valuables, and then you have to worry about somebody going in there and stealing.
Yep.
And stealing your and see that's why a lot of people don't
Won't
want
leave.
to leave. That's just I don't want to. I'm not leaving my home. Now, if I know that it's a category 5 and it's going to
going.
definitely hit, yeah, we're going to talk. I probably go up to App State and stay with my granddaughter.
Well, at that point in time, that hurricane's going to change about the time it gets
No,
to
not again.
Charleston and head that way.
No,
Yeah,
we
it
don't want to go through that again.
it's
We were
done that.
lucky
It's
that the
done.
mountain we were on
Mhm.
didn't have mudslides.
Yeah.
So,
Hugo, 89 was it?
Yeah.
1989.
South
it was-
Carolina,
it
that
was-
was South Carolina, right?
It was scheduled to come up
Right.
the coast and make landfall in North Carolina in the south end of New Hanover County. That's where
Right.
the prediction was. Well, it came ashore in Charleston, made us up way up through Myrtle Beach, and I was in Florida and came back through after the fact.
Right.
I had a transmission that was blown. I couldn't get
Mhm.
home, and I came through, and there was a swath where it went through, and it ended up in the mountains. A lot of those people that lived because I knew Curry Beach because I worked there.
Right.
A lot of those people at Curry Beach had vacated and gone to the Charlotte area. Well, guess where it went? It tore the roof off their motel in Charlotte. They left Curry Beach and went into the eye of the storm.
What was the one after Hugo that went through South Carolina? The big one. Or was it Hugo?
Hugo was the one, 89. That was the bad one.
All right. It was a couple years after that I had to go to South Carolina for some training courses. Mm-hmm. And I remember as I traveled, I could not believe the damage that was still out there.
It was left from Hugo for years.
Yes, the trees and it looked like toothpicks and still houses damaged. It was just. Let
me tell you about my Friday meal. Okay, I told you a little bit about it.
About the what?
Meal. We went to the Borough restaurant, one of our advertisers.
I'm hungry.
And I called early that morning to verify everything was intact and I was going to be going. So we went. We got a reservation for 5:30. Showed up at 5:30, maybe 5 minutes before. And, they got my booth over there. I requested a booth. And they got my booth over there. There's water on the table waiting.
Oh, nice.
They just put it there. Ice was still in it. They were waiting. They know I'm going to show up. And then I go in and sit down. The waitress, the server, she comes over and she said, is there some beverage you'd like to have along with the water? So I got my sweet tea with no lemon.
Yeah, that's right. No lemon.
No lemon. Don't drink lemon in my tea. I will at home if I want it, but I usually have lime. But so I got that and appetizers. Well, we knew what we wanted. We know that menu pretty much inside out. So we ordered what we wanted, appetizers. And then I said, we're going to wait to give you what our meal is until we get through the appetizers. She said, if you want to give it to me now, that's fine. I will not turn it in until I see that you're ready. Okay, good. That is what a good wait staff will do. Oh, yes. If you want to give them your menu, what you want to eat, what your desires are, that's fine. As long as they understand. And a good one will wait and watch you as you finish your appetizers. I hate to order an appetizer in restaurants. I hate to order one. And then
you get it, and as soon as you get it, here comes your meal.
And if I place my meal order at the same time, then the meal will come at about the same time the appetizer does.
Right.
And now I'm like, what do I eat first? If I don't eat the appetizer, it's going to get cold. If I don't eat the other meal, it's going to be cold. So, oh my God, what do I do?
And most of your appetizers, you can't really box up and take home. No. You have to eat them right then and there.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't have to worry about that at the Borough.
Very nice.
They timed it. They looked at it.
Perfect.
She kept her eye on me, and that's the way it was. So we got when we finished that, she was clearing the table, and then out comes the meal.
Perfect.
You give it. If I had wanted a 10-minute intermission, they will also do that. I have done that in places too. I said, you know what? When I get through with the appetizer, I will tell you when to go ahead and place the order.
Right.
Very good. Because I may want 10 minutes. If I've got another couple, like we quite often will have somebody else dining with us, we have a chance to chat.
My problem with appetizers are
they're good.
Yeah, they're good. And you eat. And by the time the meal comes out, I'm not hungry.
No. Well, at the Borough, we eat, and I eat in moderation, but I also I eat something that I know that I can take home with me.
That's
Any leftovers.
That's right.
I order accordingly. So, Randy, my man, I got 2 meals out of you for the price of 1.
Right.
And that's the way I do it. Because I'm not going to stuff it. And I want to engage and enjoy.
Well, I want to go soon.
Don't wait too long. But always make a reservation.
Right.
Give it to me. I'll make the reservation for you through the cell contacts that I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
You know people.
I do. You can get to know them.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But anyway, and it comes out, it's hot, it's delicious. I got the steak this time. I don't always get the steak, but I was in the mood for some meat. I wanted beef.
Yes.
I like his steak.
Right.
I can order steak in other places and I have to cut up so much stuff that is so tough.
You got to cut off the fat.
I want a little fat on my steak. I like it. It adds the flavor, but I don't want to have to cut through this thick layer of not the fat, but this, you cut a piece of meat and then you get something on the other side. It's like cutting through a piece of wire just halfway through it. You know, it's tough.
Right.
And then God help you if you bite into that. You can chew.
Now I know what I'm having for supper.
Come on back. I'll be through chewing this in about 10 minutes. I hate that kind of meat.
I did buy 2 small steaks, 2 small New York strips, but because they were so cheap, they had marked them down. But they're small, which is just perfect for me because I can't eat a big one. But yeah, I think I'll cook that tonight with a big salad.
Well, Robbie and I both order our steaks rare.
Yes.
Because we know, first of all, I know I like it rare. And then my choice, my challenge is when I have the rest of it left over at home.
Right.
Okay, how am I going to cook this thing? Heat it up. So you do not put it in the microwave.
No,
y'all.
That really toughens them.
Here's what I do. I get it. And for me, I will put a little bit of sauce in the bottom. It's not sauce that you eat on it for flavoring. My favorite sauce is French onion soup. I take a little bit of that out. I get that really hot in a separate pan. When it's hot, I've got the pan that I'm going to heat my steak in. It's heating up. I want that pan hot. I'll pour just a couple of big spoons of the French onion soup stuff in the hot pan that's already hot. Put that steak in there. You hear it sizzle, 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 sizzle. Turn it over, sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. And I've got the outside hot. The inside is still rare.
Right.
And it's soaked up those juices, so it's dried. That's the way I eat my steak left over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good way to warm it up.
All right, y'all. Now you got a tip.
Now you have a tip. Now you're ready to go. You're ready to rock.
All right. So what's going to happen next? What do we got in Raleigh? We got an attorney general that's suing the president, because he doesn't like the birthright.
Well, he's doing everything. Everything for him is political. So,
or at least a Democrat, and he made that. And he's kind of a new to the.
Oh, you want to talk about governors? Let's go back for just a minute to Friday when Trump landed in L.A. And guess who was on the runway to meet him? Uninvited, which is fine, but Newsom.
I hope
Newsom met him as he came down the steps, and you would have thought Newsom and Trump were best friends. Newsom did everything but kiss the ring. And they were hugging and they were shaking hands. And Newsom is like,
begging.
I appreciate you, President, coming here. And I hope we can work together and we want all the help we can get from you. And I'm like, oh, Lord. But yet.
Donald said, don't worry about it, Mr. Newsom. Get out of the way. We'll take care of it.
Yeah. Hold my beer. But yet when Trump went to the center that they had, it was a fire department or somewhere where they had dignitaries and some of the congressmen representing that district there to speak. Newsom wasn't there. Of course, the mayor was. And the mayor got a little testy with the president, and the president more or less put her in her place by saying, you've got emergency powers just like I do.
Yeah.
Use them.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you saw when Newsom went up there and met the plane, and I was like, wow.
I didn't see it, but it doesn't surprise me. He's getting his.
He did what he was supposed to do. He's supposed to, like, hey, let's work together. This is about the state of California, not about me not liking you. But it was interesting. I tell you, I've watched so much of it. I can just about tell you what Trump had for lunch. Tom said the governor, and the AG here in this state want our state to be a sanctuary state. Do you believe that?
The governor and the AG want it to be a sanctuary state.
Right.
It's the only one in the South.
Yeah.
The only state in the South that's doing this. Okay? You're dumb. I think it's the only state in the South. Did Virginia do it?
I can't remember.
I don't
I'd
know.
have to go back and look at the map again that you sent us.
Well, I think that was for the suing the president.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're the only state that sued the president in the South. Yeah. what's our AG's name? A new guy, Jeff somebody?
Jackson.
Jackson.
Yeah, I believe that's right. Yes.
So hey, he's I don't see much coming from him. He's going to take the word of the former AG, who is now the governor.
Mm-hmm.
Governor Stein. Oh,
I think the Republican Party, the state party, spent so much time on Trump's, trying to get Trump elected here in North Carolina that they kind of forgot about our Council of State.
Well,
so therefore,
we had a governor wannabe that screwed up the Republicans' efforts in North Carolina.
I agree to that.
And that was their fault. That was your fault. All y'all.
I know you're not pointing at me.
All you GOPers, and it would have been my fault too. Except I saw the light a lot earlier than y'all saw the light.
Yes.
Y'all didn't admit it. I saw it and admitted it.
Well, back before the primary, that's when the things started coming out. And, the state representatives were scrambling
too late then
to try to get somebody else in there like Dale Falwell because they knew what was coming out. It was going to be worse.
It was one of the worst stupid moves.
They knew they were going to lose that
should
seat.
Have done enough. Listen to the people that knew him. Do the background on it.
Well, I will say in his defense,
and the Democrat Party, neither one of them had the people or to actually do good backgrounds.
I will say in his defense, when he first came to light with his speech in Greensboro, and
cheap talk. He didn't even own a gun.
Well, the thing about it is, though, he became a fan favorite. He became, and because you've been at several of them, when he would attend a function and give a speech, it made you feel like you had just been to church.
When he got out and sang at an event that he was at here in Jacksonville, he got up and sang some country song, as I recall, whatever. I don't know what it was.
Wheel wagon, wagon wheel.
He was singing, and then he talks a good game, but he doesn't have any substance to it.
Yes.
I'm sorry. There was no substance in that man whatsoever. He came to fame by going up to buck the Greensboro City Council, who was toying with the idea of not allowing gun shows to happen in the city limits. Okay, good for him, but he didn't even own a gun. He just went up there for the rights. Okay, well, I agreed with that. Because I found out he didn't own a gun because I asked him when I first met him. I asked him, "Do you even own a gun?" "No, I don't, but I'm going to buy one." "Why were you there? Why were you even thinking about it?" He said, "Because they wanted to take away the rights of some of us. None of our rights should be taken away." Good. I agree with that.
Right.
It would have been more credible if he had actually been there for a purpose other than something political. And I think that's all it was.
I don't know if he owned a gun at the time, but I do know that since then he does own several. There's some people right here in Onslow that used to go regularly to the shooting range with him. And so
I know he has one now.
Yes.
And I know he has a concealed carry permit.
Yes. But I really, on a personal level, I really like him and his wife, Yolanda. I met her several times.
Artist.
And I mean, on a personal level, as far as but when other things started coming out, I'm like, this is going to affect, the office of governor. He's and more stuff coming. It really kind of broke my heart in a way because I had thought more highly of them than what they've been alleged to have done, which a lot of that's been proven since then. And it really kind of disappoints me. But
not the first time you've been disappointed, I'm sure about that.
No, it's not the first time. It won't be the last time, and it's just what it is.
All right, now what y'all have to do is you've got to get your stuff together and get ready for the next election.
Yeah, and that's one thing that...
And if you haven't picked somebody yet, shame on you.
That's one thing working with some of the candidates here in Onslow County that I did in the past. Don't wait till it's time to sign up to run for election. You need to start doing it now.
And if you're going to be running for a city council seat, a county commission seat, a school board seat, the sheriff, clerk of court.
You've got 2 years before election.
Good luck on that one, but If you're going to be running for any of these seats, Swansboro mayor, city council, town council, commission, whatever they call it there, I can't
Town
remember.
commissioner in Swansboro.
And you've got the same thing up in North Topsail. You've got Holly Ridge, Richlands. You've got these places.
I think there's how many this year for commissioner? Will be 4.
There were 3 last year. This past year, or was it 4? I thought there were 4.
Yes, 4.
So there's 3 coming up for county commission. So you've got all of these seats are coming up in some of them in 2026. And then,
right.
But if you haven't been to a council meeting, if you have no idea what the budget says when it's passed this year,
right.
If you don't know what's going on there and you've got nothing, what have you got to run for?
Honestly,
what good are you? Why should I even care about you? If you better come out with something to show me that you know what you're talking about.
The budget is always published online. Go read your budget.
Yeah.
Go learn your budget.
Or go to the budget work sessions. Find out what makes these people think. Looking at the bottom line, if all you're looking at is the budget once it's passed, you have no idea what discussions happen to get to where they are to finalize the budget. The work sessions have started.
Some people think by going to read the budget, they're going to find something they don't agree with that they can use as a campaign.
You will, but you're probably going to be wrong because it's probably there for a good cause. Look at how they reached that decision.
Don't read the budget with a negative attitude. Don't read it with the intent of, let me see what I can find wrong so I can use this on my campaign, blah, blah, blah. No, you read the budget to learn the budget, to learn where the money goes. You're better seasoned that way. You're better educated that way. We've already seen in the past and present where we've had different elected officials make a remark. They don't even know what they're talking about because they did not research first.
Yep, absolutely.
So, or ask the proper people. So
and then also talk to people who have been on the council or the commission or the whatever.
That's right.
Talk to people that have been there in the past and find out a little bit about the history.
I don't want to vote for somebody that their whole campaign promise is, I'm going in there and I'm cleaning it up, or I want somebody that says, I'm going in because this is what I want to do. Yeah. I want to be there. I want to be a part of the people. I want to do what I can to make Onslow County great again, which is great.
It is.
So
we hope everything is great. And I think personally it is, but it's not perfect.
Right.
So how can we make it more perfect?
Right. County commissioners have a meeting tonight. Robin, if you're listening, let us know.
I think so.
I think it was postponed from last week.
I don't know. It's online.
I got an email for it, but
we got to get moving.
We got to go.
It's time. What do we got tomorrow? We don't know.
It's all on the edge of. I should know by this afternoon.
Okay.
Just with this weather.
Could you folks put a number down in your little black book there so you can call us? We'd love to hear from you. Charlie calls us. He's out there in the California way.
That's right.
We get calls from folks everywhere, but we don't get calls from our locals here. Alaska. Where are you? What are you doing? Don't you care?
Right. And if you want to be on the show, give me a call. Send us an email. Give me a call.
You got something you want to talk about? Your voice is as important as mine. Probably much more important than mine.
We're all about the community.
I fill time here with my personal views, and you don't want to hear them. I don't even want to hear them. And my wife doesn't want me to say them.
You two are great together because you're kind of like the other side of everything. And the way you two, which is great, the way you two go back and forth. And I really enjoyed that. What's
kind of funny is neither one of us have a black eye.
No, but you did it respectfully, and it wasn't to go after each other. It was two different opinions that they really mixed well.
She's up there plotting right now what to do.
No, I said, come on down.
She's plotting. That's why she's out. That's what she's about.
She's a good lady.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. Okay, we will see you tomorrow morning at bright and early at 7 o'clock.
I will be here.
Prepare for a little bit of damp weather.
Yes.
So we'll get over it. And
would you rather have the rain or snow?
Rain. 2 months.
Yes.
In spring. Of course, we've had really crappy weather in the spring too. With as bad a weather as we're having, we've had, Maybe we'll have an early spring that will be very nice.
Yeah, that
Okay.
will. Let's be positive
let's
about.
look at that.
It was beautiful. The snow was beautiful.
No, it was not.
It was pretty to look at. We all got
Pretty
our
awful.
snow for the next decade. So
I don't want any.
let's
Go
just
away.
enjoy what we had, and it's gone.
Okay, we will see you tomorrow morning, 7:00. Have a great rest of your day. You're live and local, real talk, where we're always awake and we're never woke.
Amen.